What's good, Knicks Nation? For family show, the music. This team doesn't even deserve any music, man. We just got to get straight into this point. The Knicks lost 114-97 to the Dallas Mavericks, the woeful Dallas Mavericks, whose entire roster is not even playing. There's no Anthony Davis, there's no Kyrie Irving, okay? We're getting the ghost of Klay Thompson, who's coming off the bench. You got Cooper Flagg that's leading the thing. Max Christie was the one that decided to show up for the Mavs, and I wish somebody decided to show up for the New York Knicks outside of Mitchell Robinson, because this team is just looking awful. This team is downright pitiful. They have no identity. There is nothing to this team. It is just downright sad. And for a team that has come into the season with championship aspirations, they are certainly playing like a team that's trying to tank and get the #1 lottery pick, which is comical because what do they even got to draft at this point since you'd made the trade for Mikal Bridges? So this team is just awful, plain and simple. To me, looking at this team, and shout out to Jeff, my guy over here on the other side, all right? Make sure to hit the thumbs up button for your boy. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. He's going to give his thoughts in a minute. But looking at this team, man, this is a team that is completely lost. I mean, we see Jalen Brunson on the sideline just trying to galvanize the troops. And, I mean, it's at that point where you have to have your captain. Of course, your captain's got to lead the way, try to invigorate everybody. But where's the head coach? Where's everybody involved in this situation, man? This team won the NBA Cup. This team was having conversations of whether or not we should hang the banner. And now we look like a team that shouldn't even be on the floor with most teams in the NBA. All right. If there was relegation, this team should quickly be relegated to compete in the G League. That is how pathetic this team is, man. That's how pathetic this team is. And outside of an identity, it just looks like these guys don't want to play basketball. It looks like these guys don't want to be around each other. I don't know if that's someone in the locker room, whether it's a player, whether it's the coaches, who has created this disconnect. But something's got to get figured out, man, because it's getting ugly real quick. It's getting really dark. Things could certainly change. But as of right now, on January 19th, when you're losing to a Dallas Mavericks team that is now, which was 17-26 entering this game. They are 5-15 on the road. 5-15 on the road. You let them come into Madison Square Garden, and after having what looked like a decent effort, it was a faux effort against the Phoenix Suns not too long ago on Friday night. You'd think you would get Saturday night. Sorry, you'd think you get a little bit more since you have Brunson and Hart back, but you get no effort from nobody. This team is just awful. Awful. And for the people wondering where CP was at the game, he's on his way. Don't worry, CP's gonna come through and give you guys his takes and what he saw at the Garden. But don't worry, we're here. Me and Jeff are here right now to talk about this game. And awful, man. Just sucks. Playing out sucks. What up, Jeff? How you doing, man?
How you doing, man? I think I know how you're doing because you already just went on your monologue about it. Bro, I've said for a minute that the NBA has the most volatile vibes in all of sports, where within a span of 5 games or 2 weeks, you could be up thinking that you're contenders, and then the next week or the next couple of weeks, it looks like you shouldn't even be an NBA team. It literally was all good a month ago. Literally, it was all good a month ago, where we as fans, as analysts, as media people, couldn't fathom the mood and the sentiment around the team being in the toilet like this right now. But that's where we're at. That's where we're at. And I joked with Alex before we got on that this was going to become KFTV murder mystery. Like this is going to be Knives Out version of KFTV. Because at this point, we got to find out what the family show happened in the locker room on New Year's Eve. Because ever since New Year's Eve, they've lost 9 out of their last 11 games. I can throw a whole bunch of stats at you about offense, defense, whatever. I know that it was 2 different teams, first half and second half. It was so bad, the Mavs scored 39 points. 39 points in the second half and still won comfortably. Comfortably. If they would have gave that effort over 4 quarters, the score would be flipped. So why aren't you coming out with that intensity? Why is it that you're down almost every first quarter? Why is it that, and shout out to Trilogy, James Edwards III, why is it that you're more than likely the first team to call a timeout in the first quarter? Where's the heart? Where's the intensity? Where is my club from Vegas? Did y'all leave them in Vegas? Do y'all gotta go back to Vegas and find the old team? Where are y'all? And honestly, Alex, that looked like a team that don't want to play for their coach no more. They don't even want to be in Madison Square Garden at that moment. I really and truly don't know what happened.
I don't know what happened either, man. And you look at this team; it's outside of the players who don't even look like they want to be there, and even the head coach, man. Like the head coach is, I don't even know what to say, man. Like Mike Brown looks lifeless on the sidelines at times, man. Even when he's talking to the refs, there's like no real engagement, like trying to fight for his guys. Even when you're just seeing him, just like when they pan to him, it's where's the energy? Where's the connectivity, man? Like like we're literally talking about like what you said, like it was about a month ago, right? Where you see this guy like praising Mitch, just like being hyped, being so animated, being excited to be here. And I understand that you're not going to be excited, animated while you're going through this rut, and that you're in New York where you got the limelight on you, and you're going to feel the criticism left, right, and center. But there's got to be something. There's got to be some soul searching. There's got to be an answer to this, because there's a lot of expectations for this season, as you know, Jeff. Like, there's a lot of expectations, like especially when you have the owner going on the fan and talking about what he's expecting this year. So there's a lot going on. But the difficulty is that you just got this head coach. Could he fire him? Sure. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't know why you'd want to pay two coaches for not doing work. You would have Tibbs and then Mike Brown on the side. Then you got players who like, I don't like, I know that there's guys who have weaknesses and flaws, but it's looking like more than that at this point. Like, because you can work through flaws, you can work through weaknesses. There is no perfect team in the NBA. There is no perfect team, and a group of guys are capable of joining and just like understanding everyone's flaws and weaknesses and masking that stuff. I mean, I'm looking at OG, man, and just him even fighting around screens is not the same anymore. You know what I mean? Like, it's getting down to that type of level of detail where it's like, does anyone want to be here anymore? And that's where, like, as you said, as we're talking about, like, what happened? What exactly happened after that Spurs game on New Year's Eve? Because it is just mind-boggling.
Fam, yo, it really does look like the Monstars did a sweep on them. Because you can tell me, all right, they're the worst defense in the league in January. Their offense hasn't really been a problem, but it hasn't popped as much as it did in the first couple of months. I could give you that breakdown. I could give you that analysis. But it looks like, did Brown forget to coach in a month? Did the players forget how to hoop? Like, the synergy. Look at someone like Tyler Kolek, who don't look like he can dribble the ball up the court anymore, let alone be an effective part of the rotation. You mentioned OG. McCall is running from contact like deadbeats run from their responsibilities. It's bad, bro. It's absolutely bad. And you know what? I took a lot of heat on social when I mentioned that whole Draymond dust up and how it seemed like whether it was players or coaches as a squad did not support that man when it happened. That was one of the first alarm bells that went off in my head. Because it doesn't matter how you feel about somebody. When they on your team, that is your teammate. You're supposed to support them no matter what. You could talk to them afterwards if they were the ones who initiated something or they started something. But the fact that they didn't seem like they were on the same page. I saw Deuce saying stuff to Dre. I seen OG, but I didn't see, like, even the coach, you hugging this dude up afterwards, and then they ask you a comment in the post game, and you more so putting the onus on Cat than a dude who tried to trip a 7-foot guy. And we saw what happened when players do commit dirty plays against our big men and their ankles. Mitch is still recovering from 2 years ago from what Embiid did. I think that's weird, and I think that's corny. And that, to me, was the first sign where I said, yo, do y'all like each other no more? What the hell happened over this month internally that's making y'all approach the game this way?
it's confusing. And like we can even discuss that thing like with Draymond, and it's just like who's got who's back, man. Like it's like that's the other thing too. Like that adds to the bigger piece of being a team, right? It's like when you saw what happened to Mitch, everyone circles. Like whether it was Hartenstein, Dante, like everybody was out there protecting Mitch after what Embiid did. I'm not seeing that, man. I'm not seeing that. And like you could say that's a little thing. Like that's how much does it make in the whole grand scheme of things? But hey, the emotions, people, it's all this, man. Even working in a regular 9 to 5 job, if you don't like somebody, if you can't get past emotions or disagreements, you feel it. You're not going to be working at your best. And no one says you have to love each other, like each other, anything of that nature, but you have to be able to work together. And it just doesn't seem like we're capable of doing that. I mean, it's just tough, man. It's tough. And I think part of it, too, is the system that Mike Brown wants to run. Because when he was hired and thinking about the pace of what he did with the Sacramento Kings, seeing what happened in Golden State and the speed that they play with, not saying that these guys aren't capable of doing that, because we did see them do that, at, like trying to work it all out beginning of the season, but I don't think it fits everybody for what they want to do. And by the biggest one being Karl-Anthony Towns, because he works best in like isolation and being able to take his time, the quick reads, all that stuff. That's not something that he's really had to do throughout his entire course, especially out in Minnesota and even last season under Tibbs. And I'm not putting all this on Cat, because Bridges isn't playing better. He isn't doing the same stuff that he did to start the season off. There's a lot going on, but I'm saying just sticking with what Mike Brown's trying to implement here, it just seems like not everyone's fully bought into it, which is the biggest issue. If your players are not bought into what the head coach's system is, it's
But
a
fam,
sinking ship.
but Alex, I can't even accept that, bro. We wasn't talking about this a month ago.
I know, that's the
It
thing.
seemed like everybody was fully invested in the system. Now you're not. Why would it change? Why would it change? Why? Because y'all are playing more high quality teams? What? It shouldn't change. The standard should be the standard regardless. Why is it that, why, how come, what happened this month that is causing y'all to be out on the system? Like, you're like, bro, we can say all of this, right? When they came back in that cup game, when they were winning in a variety of ways on their way to the cup, forget about the cup, that month of December, they found a multitude of different ways to win within that system. What changed? Why are you sudden buying out instead of buying in? That's on the players. That starts at the top. I'm looking at Jalen Brunson. That seat feel heavy on your chest, don't it? You have the great responsibility of being a captain, and with that comes even greater power. They're not mutually exclusive. They're one and the same. They're one and the same.
It's just so disappointing, man. Because, like, how is this team closer to a play-in than competing with the Detroit Pistons right now for, like, a top seed in the East? And to me, while things are looking gloom right now, like, I can't say they can't do it, can't say it, got to watch it all play through, because anything can happen. Anything can happen. Pacers had a slow start last season. Next thing you know, they're in the Eastern Conference Finals. You just go on one hell of a run, right? And the Knicks could certainly bounce back and do that. But right now, at this very moment, there's a lot that needs to get fixing. There's a lot. And let me ask you this, Jeff. Is this a trade? Is there a trade that needs to happen? Does somebody, and I'm not talking about Giannis. I'm not talking like, is there just a trade that needs to happen, or is this beyond trades at this point?
Fam, I'm so serious when I say this. They need a team meeting, not a players only meeting. They need everybody in the room. They need everybody in the room to have that conversation and to figure out what's going on. Because I'm exhausted from the speculation, bro. Y'all just gotta figure it out. Because, and I don't know how you feel about it. To me, this type of stuff doesn't come out of nowhere. Something happened, or a series of events occurred to where this team doesn't feel like anything is urgent anymore. Now, I hope that the issue is they think they can turn it on whenever and they're chilling. That would be the best case scenario. Because then when they start feeling like that, we will recognize our club again. But for now you're leading me to look at every press conference, every comment, because y'all not going to give us straightforward answers. So now I got to look at every comment. Now we got to lean on reporting. Now we got to be body language doctors. We have to do all of this to try to figure out why a consistent effort isn't translating on the court anymore. Because, you know, you got the grifters and the people who talk about this team, who wanted to try to find issues with the team in the first few months when they were looking like world beaters. And yeah, there were some issues that were of concern, but for the most part, this team had it figured out. Now it's like, it's worse than pickup ball. Because at least sometimes with pickup, you could have a semblance of cohesion. They don't got that. They don't got that. So once again, what the family show happened in January? What happened?
Well, as the reporters are doing their post-game presser with Mike Brown and some of the players, some interesting tweets are coming out as of right now. So Gam is throwing it up on the Jumbotron so that we can just see this as a collective. First one we got is from Christian Winfield, and he, you know, beat writer for the New York Daily News. And he says, more from Brunson, we just didn't follow the game plan at all. Says he could have lived with all of these losses if they were more competitive, but they haven't been. So that's from your captain right there, talking straight to the team. And this one from Ian Begley is the one that intrigues me the most, because when McBride talks, man, McBride says a lot, man. He says a lot.
I love Deuce, bro. He tells you like it is.
He doesn't mince words. He said, and this is from Ian Begley, and I quote, one thing Miles McBride mentioned in post-game interview was guys possibly getting too comfortable because of success, both last year and earlier this year. He said winning earlier in this year masked some New York Knicks' issues. Those issues still remain. But as McBride noted, Knicks have been playing higher caliber of opponents lately. Knicks have dropped 9 of their last 11. So guys, look, man, if McBride's telling you people are feeling comfortable after last year's success and earlier this success, Jeff, this is kind of leaning towards the theory of, hey, we could turn it on when we want to, you know, because we've done this before. And when I start seeing that and sensing that never plays out. Nowhere ever has it played out where it's like, I could turn the switch. There's like maybe a handful of players that can easily do that, LeBron being one of them. But for the most part, guys are not capable, are just not, when it comes to, most guys are just not capable of just, let me flip the switch now and now be a competitive team, be a competitive player, and everything's going to be okay. It doesn't work like that. It's like prepping for a test, right? And you're like, I'm good. I'll just cram it all in, man. Let me just cram it all in the night before, and, you know, I'll come out and I'll potentially pass. And you may pass, but it couldn't be as great as if you just approached every single day, just slowly and steadily, just studying. And in this case, just playing and just, you know, buying into what Mike Brown is trying to coach here, man. And they just got to do that. It's just that simple. I
mean, I ain't gonna front. I was a late night warrior in college. Don't tell me about not studying and then you get it out. Like memory retention was a little bit of a thing. Maybe they think they are back in college and they could cram, and for the ones that was doing papers and schoolwork like that, so that they could just cram in a week and they got it. But to your point, at some point down the time, you're gonna get burned for it. You're gonna crash out and you're gonna pay for thinking that you could just wake up and get an A or a B or whatever the case, or pass and be good. But the point is, when you get the wake up call, what do you got to do, Alex? You got to wake up.
Yeah, that's
they
right.
still sleep. They still sleep. And yo, y'all are gonna be sick of me, but I'm gonna tell you what the F happened in January, dog. Like, I know y'all don't need $500,000 a game to get up for every squad. Is that what we saying right now? Y'all need those stakes, like the champion stakes ain't enough? Do y'all like, and the effort, if they were just missing and they were in a slump, Al, I'd be like, they're gonna turn it on. They'll progress back to the mean. But it's the effort that's looking nasty. It doesn't look like they're playing with pride. And then you got Brunson saying we got to be consistent, and he's giving his thing. But I'm like, okay, so then what are you doing about it? What are you doing about it?
What are you doing about it? Indeed, man. What are you doing about it? Indeed. Salute to Knicks Nation. Thank you all for tuning for another KFTV post-game live. The New York Knicks get whooped by the Dallas Mavericks, 114-97. Do not be fooled by the score. It was much worse than that. With me on the other side is my guy, Jeff Johnson. Make sure you give him a follow. Hit that thumbs up button for your boy. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. CP is on the way. He's going to give us his takes and what he saw at the arena, so make sure to stay locked in. But shout out to one of our sponsors who always stays locked in, and that's Rula, okay? Look, when life gets going, it gets real sometimes, all right? Work, family, finances, the constant grind. We talk a lot about basketball stress, but real life stress, that's a different level. And I'll be honest, therapy has helped a lot of people close to me get back on track. Friends, teammates, family. Sometimes you just need someone who can help you sort things out. The only problem? It's hard to find a therapist. It takes forever, and the cost can be crazy. That's why I really like Rula. Okay, Rula makes things simple when it comes to finding a therapist, makes it simple and accessible. They work with most major insurance plans, and the sessions can cost as little as $15, literally the price of a quick lunch in the city. They've got over 15,000 licensed therapists, fully vetted, and they match you with with someone based on your needs. No guessing, no long wait lists. You get an appointment as soon as the next day. If you've been thinking about therapy or even just curious, Rula moves the excuses. Go to rula.com/KFTV and get started today. That's RULA.com/KFTV. Take the first step, take care of yourself. All right, man. And to help the people take care of themselves for this show, we're going to get to some of the calls, all right? So we got a whole line of people waiting to talk, man. So we're going to get straight to it. Let's see. Who we got
Stats
here
of the night going to be we ass?
It's going to be just that. But before we get to that, let's take some of these calls, man. Let's take some of these calls. Start off, kicking off the show. Let's go to King Matthews, man. King Matthews, how you doing?
That's a terrible way to do it, Martin Luther King Day. Disgusting. But how y'all fellas doing tonight, man?
Frustrated, like most Knicks fan, man. But, living. We're still happy, There's more to life, but frustrated after watching this team, man. All right, well, tell us what you thought, man. We got you on the line, King Matthews, because we want to know what you thought about this game. What's happening?
Man, I just had to come back from outside, man. I had to take a walk, take a little mini drive, because that's actually other than that Kings game, this was probably the worst game. It probably not in Knicks this season, but in Knicks history. Because, damn, that was just a beating, man. Even the fourth quarter, you're coming back, just so much errors. Even I want to mention this stat: 32-2 in the fast break points.
Disgusting.
That is nasty work. And you even watch the game, they're not even hustling back on defense. And we could all agree the defense, the grit and grind is just gone. Like y'all said, I don't know what happened in January. That thing is gone. Vegas, shout out to the cup, but ever since they won that cup, man, they're not the same. They're not the same. And man, Mike Brown, and I have other thing. Was it maybe I'm doing too much, but do you think it was right to even fire Tibbs in that moment?
Matthews, let me tell you something, man. If we're going to talk about the firing of Tibbs, it's a complex situation. I was ready to move off, but at the same time, when you looked at the coaching pool, there was no one really out there. So I was prepared for another year of Tom Thibodeau.
Honestly,
but it's still too early. It's still too early to even make that conclusion. Like, is Mike Brown the wrong guy? Like,
I'm not saying he's the wrong guy. Just I thought it would be a little bit better, but just the way to see it, man. Mikal Bridges, man. 5 picks for what? 5 picks. This is what I'm seeing from him.
Question
I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk about cash money because, if we're talking about a trade, Giannis, I don't think it's gonna work out because how are we gonna make that Giannis trade? That's not gonna happen. If we had to trade someone, we need a dog. We need a dog on this team.
we do need a dog on this team. Appreciate the call,
man.
Matthews. Appreciate the call. We do need a dog on this team. And it's just the energy, man. I thought having Josh Hart back and Brunson back, you would get that energy, but it's tough. But to get back to like the whole coach, like there's still so much basketball left to make that decision on where Mike Brown is. I'm not even gonna like fully like I said, I was expecting one more year of Tibbs. I didn't think there was the coaching pool was strong enough, but hey, they went with Mike Brown. They did their coaching search. It's interesting how they went about it, but we're here, and so we got to see what can happen. Yeah. But it's still not over, man. He could still turn this team around. There's still a chance for him. It's too early to cut him out, though.
Facts. I think you got to give it the full season because the energy wasn't the same when they were world beaters in December. We didn't. In fact, I watched the product. There were a lot of thank you for delivering us from TT67. Thank you. This is what we've been asking for. Look at the rotations. He plays his bench. He's trying different things. We're resting guys now. We're a modern NBA team. Maybe I live in another universe. This was the sentiment. This was the national sentiment, which is why even analysts are like, what the hell happened? Because we all thought this was a proof of concept to the criticisms that have been levied on the Knicks and Tom's coaching staff for years. It looked like it was corrected. And then we got to 2026 and the bottom fell out from under. So I'm going to give the whole year because I've seen the ebbs and flows of an NBA season. But they need to figure out what it is. If y'all not hungry, y'all need to start starving. If y'all are not hungry, y'all need to start starving. I remember, and I know a lot of y'all KFTV will appreciate this. I remember Nori in an interview years ago saying that when he got into the booth, when he got ready to record a record or an album, he took off all his jewelry. He never recorded with jewelry on because he wanted to feel like the rapper that was just coming out of Left Rack and needed a deal. And this hit needed to hit or else he was going to be back on the street. And he wanted to maintain that creative hunger. So he didn't want to remind himself that, Bloody Money made me a lot of that album, TOAY, all of that. Look, the War Report kind of got me out of the hood. But he wanted to remind himself of where he came from and where he don't want to go back. That's the problem. You gotta have the urge to say, I got out and I'm not going back. Meanwhile, these guys just feel like, they in the penthouse and they chilling. That's how it looks. And if it's not that way, prove me wrong. Because these last 11 games are screaming at me, bro. They're screaming.
Let's get to another caller, Jeff. We got, let's see, who we're going to go to next. We got Apostle in the making. Apostle in the making. What's happening?
Yeah, let me mute myself.
Yeah, okay. There he is. What's going on, Apostle?
Man, what happened after the NBA Cup? I think Jeff hit all my points. Brother texted me earlier this month on the 9th and was talking about what's happening. We're losing the teams we're supposed to beat. And what made me upset, our coach, Mike Brown, smiling with Draymond Green. He called Pat soft, calling us soft pretty much. That's the top paid player on our team. And you're just giggling and laughing. This is why I was so opposed to bringing not bringing Giannis in. But Giannis would never let that happen. After it's not friendly with nobody in the NBA because he wants to win. He's that competitive. And if we need that, I don't need Cat crying up and down the floor about foul. I need you to get back on defense. And I dropped my phone, saw Mitchell Robinson was in the third quarter, the only one getting back on that fast break.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. Figure it out, Knicks.
There you have it. There you got it from Apostleinthemaking. Appreciate the call, my man. Look, frustrated with what he's watching, man. Saying he wants Giannis because he would bring that energy that that he's not, chummy with everybody in the league and is just focused on winning. Knicks need that energy, that's for sure. They're looking soft, man. They're getting punked every single night, man. How are you getting punked by Max Christie? Of all players, man. And look, Max Christie's good, but I mean, this man was looking like the guy who's coming off the bench, Klay Thompson, tonight. And for the love of God, why is he wide open every single time, man? Wide open. First play of the second half, wide open for a shot.
Yeah, he almost set a record in there. He's like third most threes ever scored in Madison Square Garden by opposing opponents. Listen, man, I think that in general, fans use soft and quit too liberally on teams. But bro, I have no more bail left to shoot. Bail reform is kicking my ass because of the New York Knicks. I got no more bail for them, bro. Y'all just gonna have to sit. Y'all gonna have to sit until your lawyer comes for you and y'all figure it out. Because the Knicks fans aren't giving y'all a plea deal right now. Y'all going to the big house. Y'all going to the big house, bro.
Gonna need a bail bondsman for this one. Let's get to the Knicksfix, man. What's the Knicksfix got to say? What's happening, my man?
Alex, Jeff, what up, fellas?
Hey, man.
What's going on, bro?
Another day and another Knicks loss at this point in time.
Yeah, man. All right, so I'm gonna separate these two arguments, right? I'm gonna tell you what's going on with the team and what's gonna happen with the team. All right. So the reason why we're losing these games, right? The games aren't lost in the second, the third, the fourth quarter. The games are lost in the first quarter. All right. So we come out and we shoot too many threes. Now what happens is that the trend that misses lead to long transition runouts the other way. Right. So there was a method to Tibbs' madness for attacking the paint because this limits the amount of transition rebounds that opposing teams can have and run out for. So 5 points deficit become 10, become 15 quick. And we're always playing down up. So that's the problem, right? The team isn't situated. The team that's predicated as it is right now is predicated on Jalen Brunson's penetration, creating in the lane, then kicking out. The problem with the Knicks is that they just taken threes as the first option, right? The second problem with the team is that you're playing Mike Brown has Cat playing above the break, and he's setting him. He has to set up out there, whereas the action should be him in the pinch post with backscreen cuts with McHale and OG. So that's the other thing. Cat is not Sabonis. Mike Brown is playing this dude like he's Sabonis. All right. Now, those are my points on why the team is losing. All right. This is what's gonna happen, fellas. If you guys, Jeff, I know you touched on it just now. If you look at that Cup championship game, Clarkson, Mitch, Deuce, and Kolek brought that team back. Cat was on the bench, right? So if you really know how to play the Knicks, the MO is out. Just attack the closeout. The league knows that the Knicks close out hard. And attack the closeout, they'll fly by, boom, open three. They overcommit. Now, what I want to say is this, man, away from the X's and O's. If you fire Tibbs, you don't make a lateral or what looks to be like a regressive move. You make a move to bring in an experienced coach or someone who is young and has fresh ideas. This guy, Mike Brown, coached LeBron and couldn't win. Coach Kobe after Phil Jackson left that Laker team. So they were still a contender and they were done. He lasted 5 games into the season. They went 1-4 and they lost every single postseason game. They looked exactly like how the Knicks played now. Dwight Howard was on that team. It was a loaded team, man. And then to touch on what you guys are talking about, Giannis, if you bring Giannis in, they still will lose because they're not being coached the right way. if you don't understand a subject and you don't have the right teacher, you'll never learn it unless you learn it yourself. So the problem is him. We should have gone and gotten a better coach. And I think this dude there's no way he survives this. What do you guys think?
Appreciate the call, Knicksfix. Appreciate the call. I
Can
think
I,
he's.
can I,
I
can
think,
I rock that for a second? Can I rock that
Yeah,
real
go for
quick?
it.
Thank
Go for
you. These things weren't being said in December, man. You got 3 months of evidence contrary to what these 11 games are. And I think I hear what he was saying, but that Cavs team had me and Alex playing rotation minutes that went to the finals. They had no business going to the finals, and it was the greatness of LeBron. It wasn't like they just couldn't win because they couldn't get over some type of imaginary hump. Like, let's be real. They went 41-25 in the Lakers, that first year in the Lakers, hit a 5-game losing streak, and he was out. We also got to give him credit for rejuvenating the moribund Kings franchise, who is the true laughing stock of the 20th century, not the Knicks, because the Knicks play in a big market, right? Like, you got to give them the credit. Once again, it's got to be on the players at this point. It's got to be on the players. Y'all got 2 coaches, pretty much the same team, save a few bench pieces. And y'all looked good in the beginning. What's happening? This is a Jimmy and Joe's issue, not an X's and O's. Like, what are we talking about here? Now Mike Brown stinks because he lost 9. His team lost 9 out of 11, but he didn't stink before when they was winning. What are we doing here?
valid points, man. Valid points between both of them. Rate Jeff's take and rate Knicksfix's take, man. 1 for being trash, 5 for being facts. Who are you going with more? Who should we go with more? Good, this is good.
It's a bad
Good
night to
time
have
here.
that one. I'm about to be
Good time.
drowning in a sea of salsa, bro. I know, because everybody's mad, and that's why I said I can only give logic so much when I don't know what the F happened in January. It's everybody, bro. It's gotta be everybody. The players are saying, I don't know. Then what we gonna do? Just throw our hands up when the Nets put you in the dub club on Wednesday? You don't think heads are gonna roll? All right. Okay.
We got people in the chat. Shout out to Rare Edition saying same side of the coin. We got First Lady of Sports saying both are right. Okay. We got Jeff. We got Knicksfix. Everyone getting ratings, man. Everyone's getting ratings. Some agree with Jeff. Some agree with Knicksfix.
I mean, at this point, the Knicks are 2 sides of the same cheek. They ass, bro. 2 sides of the same cheek, bro. 2 cheeks. Ass. Like, that's what it is, man. Nobody's exempt from the criticism. No one. They got to figure it out, though.
For sure. Nobody is exempt from this criticism. It's been downright ugly. And, even touching on the point of like Mike Brown, and I'm part of the crew saying, oh, look, he's doing stuff differently that we've been asking for, and now it's looking rough. This is why it's just so tough, man. We need answers to what is going on in that locker room. And I'll give them the credit to this. The fact that we don't know what's going on in that locker room, there's still something that's holding. It's holding by a thread that we don't know exactly what's going on in that locker room. So I'll give them credit to that. Because if there were stories left and right, it'd be a circus right now if we know what the true feelings were.
Fam, I'm getting messages asking me, did some personal stuff happen? That's where we are now. Because, shout out to my wife who was like, yo, they don't even, and she ball watcher, right? She's like, they just don't look like a team. What happened? And I'm like, okay, I know I'm not crazy. Because she's super perceptive. If you have women in your life, super perceptive. She's just like, yo, the last few games, they looked like last year, they looked like they were world beaters. What happened? I'm like, I'm about to go on KFTV and see if the chat know, see if Alex know, see if Big Franchise know. I need answers, bro.
Well, you see, this is the stuff that I gotta push back on, because we had even Tracy McGrady saying, last year this team had an identity and that they played better defense. Cat wasn't caught in a blender as often, and I'm seeing all this stuff fly through, and I'm like, hold on one second.
Production gave you some ass notes, bruh.
I was like, hold on one second. I was like, I watched this team and we had a lot of criticism. Like, honestly, it's the same. It's damn near the same script almost, identical. Where beginning of last season, you're starting to see cuts, work off ball. Everyone, the offense is hoeing and humming, and everyone's like all happy. Team's doing a lot of winning. Everything's looking great. Calendar year turns. This team reverts back into being ISO strictly. Defense has been questionable, right? Like they're not even like top 15 last year. They're outside of that. Struggling defense, all of that, and it's essentially the same thing. Starts again, hot. Offense is just hot, cutting left and right. You know, we're starting to see multiple actions. We're seeing all these things, and then calendar year things start to go south. The defense is still a problem from last season. The defense has never been great. Never been great. It's still issues that we saw last year. And it's still the same issue as I don't know what this team's identity is.
I thought we knew.
I
knew in December.
I thought it was getting towards that. I thought we were getting towards what that identity was in December. But like I still don't know, man. Because even with the offense going, I'm like, all right, so this is a team that opportunistic defense. Like they're not going to stop anybody, but they're going to try to generate turnovers, get blocks, and get out and take advantage of that. And then offensively, this team's just going to be unbeatable because guys are going to have multiple initiators. Guys will be working off ball. You're going to have Cat working the high post. You're going to have Brunson diving and just kicking the ball out and just spraying to guys who are open from the perimeter and reversing the basketball. So that way we can just find the open 3-point shooter. But no, then we go back to now guys are chucking. Now guys just aren't in an offensive rhythm. And it's just, I don't know what this team is. And I don't know why it's the question of the night. What happened? Why is this team not looking the way that it is? But that's the one thing I got to push back is that this team is pretty similar as to what happened last year. And then we see what they did in the postseason and get to the ECF. And that very well could happen again this season. Very well. But these two the only difference is that this team is losing instead of just narrow victories against teams that they should be dog walking. That's the only difference.
Fam, I said that their identity was that they hate to lose. Who? I was about to I thought it was a different pod. But joke's on me, right? Joke's on me. Y'all must love it. Y'all must love it now. Like I said, the guys from Vegas, y'all need to go back on the strip and find them. Because they wouldn't let this happen. Bro, you look at their numbers, they are operating like a lottery team. Like legit. Like this isn't outrage. Like this isn't us exaggerating. They're bottom 5 in the league in most categories since the turn of the calendar to 2026. It's a miracle that they're still holding on to some semblance of a playoff spot. It's completely careened off the cliff, bro.
It is falling so far off the cliff. Let's get back to some more calls, though, Jeff. Let's get back to some more calls. We got Will from LI on the line. Will, what's happening?
Hey, what's going on, Alex? What's going on, Jeff? How you guys doing this evening, man?
What's up, brother?
Man, just trying to make sense of our New York Knicks, man. That's what we're trying to do.
That's all we can do. And you know what? It was funny that the sponsor of the show was a therapy service, because that's exactly what this is. Because what in the world is going on with this team? Now, I'm going to be quick. Now, first off, with the Mike Brown stuff, I think we're going a little bit overboard, all right? I like that Mike Brown likes to test different things, likes to really see what the roster has. Let's not act at first that we had the perfect roster. We all know what happened in the beginning of the season when Malcolm Brogdon and not really having a true backup point, right? Now, shout out to Kolek. I really like that Mike Brown was flexible. He tried Kolek, and and Kolek had his moments. We called him the white boy Tom Cruise and everything. It was lit, okay. But now it's just clear that there's pieces of this roster that's missing. So that falls back on the front office, Leon and Wes and them boys, to find exactly and work and try to fill in that piece, whatever's missing. So that's that. The thing about the team that really frustrates me, bro, is back when a month ago, it was all good just a month ago, right? I remember one of the most favorite takes that I heard from an opposing coach, and that was Spoelstra, right, against the Heat. He said the Knicks have a will to win, no pun intended, right? I didn't say, I don't know what happened to that will, but that will is gone. Okay. These games, you would think after all the noise, they would come out, start this game, and just fight. The captain, I'm gonna give him his break. He was off. Same thing with Hart. At 5 fouls, that was kind of rough, but this isn't that issue. This is it for me. It's Cat and it's Mikal Bridges. Both of these guys need to do their part. OG is always going to give his effort on the defensive end, and then the other guys, I feel, do their part. Some guys could play better. Some guys, they have their days, deuce and whatnot. But Mikal Bridges had 5 points going into like the half at some points. He just disappears. Okay. And I don't want to hold the 5 draft picks that we sent out to get him, but it's like you can't give me this. So he's the one that's catching these strays over these losses, and then again, Cat, because again, his defense is so bad that if he isn't cooking on offense, it's just a moot point. At the very least, Cat needs to give you 20 points, 10 rebounds a night, and at that point, that should be the bare minimum. But it's tough, man. This is a rough stretch in the season. I appreciate you guys for giving us this space, but yeah, man, it's hard out here. It's hard
It's
out here.
definitely tough. Appreciate the call though, Will. Appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem. Take care, y'all. Yeah, no problem. Take care, y'all.
Rate that call in the chat, man. 5 being facts, 1 being trash. I thought that was a really good call from Will, man. I thought he put a lot of it in perspective. Look, talked about Mikal Bridges ad nauseum at this point, man, because good God, the 7 points tonight. Will mentioned he had 5 at the half. How do you finish with only 2 in the rest of the game? Good God. 3 of 10 from the field. Played 33 minutes. 1 of 4 from downtown. 3 boards, 3 assists. 1 turnover, 2 steals, 1 block. Look, this guy was... He's Harry Houdini. That man is Harry Houdini. Because the way that man vanishes when you need him, good Lord. And let's not forget, this guy got a contract extension this offseason. Came out hot to start the season, doing all the celebrations left and right. Don't be checking your nose for air for bleeding in the air too high, man, because it is getting dark and ugly with these celebrations. You should not be celebrating until you actually show up and actually finish a layup and go through contact. All right?
And here's the other thing, Alex. I don't think we need Sherlock Holmes to tell us who at least one of the people who didn't give Tibbs a vote of confidence in that exit interview was.
Oh, that's the other thing. If you're going to be throwing subliminals like that, saying, doing all of that, you better come correct for this entire season, man. There cannot be nights off. You can't be like, I was at Summer League. He was sitting next to Mike Brown. He was looking all happy, this, that, and the third. Then you get the subliminals to start the season. All these quotes that are being hot topics and is feeding, the fodder for if you didn't want Tibbs to be the head coach of this team. You got to come and look like you're ready, man. This is what you wanted. And for the most part, when there's no Brunson, no Hart, and you're looking for an answer, offensively, defensively, he's not there. Offensively, this guy just fades into the back too often when you need him to be there. And then defensively, it's like, I get it. You're better off ball. But when you're out in Phoenix and there's tape of you used to fight around screens and be more aggressive and be a little bit more physical. Where did that go? Where did the taking opponents personally go, man? Like, you can't just be walking up into these matchups and just be like, we'll probably score a lot, man. It's okay. Like, can you at least show me against especially top teams? And I'll keep going back to the Detroit Pistons, man, because I'm watching Cade just back him down, and it's like there is no resistance. And I'm like, yo, this should be a matchup where you're trying to make a statement. You made a statement against Tatum and Jaylen Brown in the second round of the postseason last year. This is the Detroit Pistons, your first matchup with them. And you're allowing Cade just to get wherever he wants to, and you're giving that assignment from the jump? Please, man. Despicable.
Ooh. Yeah. Yeah. Cosign, retweet. I'm giving Alex a 5. Yeah, I don't know what else to say at this point. Maybe I'll lean on the callers to spark some more ideas. But this is whack, man. They dog, I'm watching them leave players wide open for threes. And it isn't just like a breakdown where, okay, we got caught on the swing around the horn. You get to the open man and the ball just beat you to the guy before you could get there and play defense, right? It's not even like that. It's legit. You're wishing that they miss. And they just continue. Yo, the Mavs were dotting their eye in that second quarter, bro. Like random out of the gym. Literally. Fast break points, 32-4. Ran them boys out the gym with Najee Marshall, Cooper Flagg, Klay Thompson, Max Christie, Dwight Powell, Musa. Ran them. And you had your whole squad. Where's the pride? Where's the pride?
Where is the pride indeed, my man? Where is the pride indeed? Let's get to another though, Jeff. Let's get to Abdul from San Diego. Abdul, my man, how you doing?
Yo, first off, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
We hear you loud and clear. The stage is yours.
Man, look, first of all, I just got off with the New York Knicks therapist, and this is what they told me. Every single last one of our players need a no call, no show. What happens when you're in a regular job? If you don't show up, you get written up, correct, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our team has this. I said this on the last call when I called, during the Christmas game, even though we won, it's effort and intensity. And right now, we're not showing it. It ain't Mike Brown. It's not the schemes. It's not this person's not getting the ball. It's effort. And when you're missing shots and you're not getting back on defense, it's effort. And we're not showing any bit of it. These games are just basically exposing us, showing us what we're capable of doing, but we're not doing it. We're not hustling back on defense. When you see Klay Thompson come across the court, half court, pass the ball to Christie, go back and spot up and hit a wide open three and nobody covers him, that tells you right there, there's no talking. Mitch is the only one really showing effort out there. Maybe we all need to make a post on social media to get the fans engaged. Because it's getting to the point where we can't keep talking. I'm not going to say we, because I damn sure don't want Tips back. We saw what that led us to. This is a new coach. This is a new opportunity. The players don't want it as bad as we want it as fans. And that's the part that is frustrating. I had this talk in my guys' chat. We have to get up and show up to go to work. These guys are playing their dream job, but they're not putting in the effort that we want to see as paying fans. It's painful and embarrassing that we have to spend money to go to these games and get this type of effort. So damn right, we're booing them. It's ridiculous. The team needs to get it together. This is going to be our coach. And Mike Brown did say something a couple of games ago. And this is when we were in a winning spur. He said the basketball season, we all know, is going to have ups and downs. He said, if you're going to have downs, you might as well have it early or midway through the season and not going into the tail end. So I'm hoping this is one of the down times that we have where it looks like it can't get any worse and we can turn it over. I don't see any big trades coming in because that's just going to spin our team in a whole new different direction. We need to suck it up, pause. We need to figure it out. Our team needs to start communicating because that's not what's happening. And when people get the opportunity, they need to show up. And that's just not what's happening. Whether it's JB not being there, it's always next man up mentality. And we're not showing it. Mikal, I don't know what happened to him. Cat is going to be Cat. We knew what Cat was going into Minnesota. We know what Cat is now. So we can't rely on someone to be somebody that they're not. Maybe he's salty he didn't get the starter for the All-Star. It's something. But we're not getting it done. We're looking terrible. And as of right now, maybe we should have hung that banner because that's what they're showing us, that we're NBA Cup champs. We got to figure it out. A lot of basketball to go, fellas. It's very disappointing, but I know we're going to get it together because we're the New York Knicks. They will find a way. It just don't look like it right now. Fellas, keep your head up. Everybody on the call, stop saying get back Tibbs. It ain't happening. It's like bringing back Dayball for the Giants. It ain't happening.
Oh,
guys, have a good night.
Good night, brother. That
Throw
ain't
some fives
happening.
in the chat for Abdul, man. That was a fantastic call. Throw some fives in the chat, man. That man was preaching right there. Man got to the altar and started preaching. That was a damn sermon. Shout out to Abdul, man. Damn, fantastic call.
No notes. No, T's right. He's absolutely right. Like, you got to get up and go to work, or else you might not have that work the next day. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And you know what? They have nobody to blame but themselves, because they're the ones who can turn this around and quiet the noise around the team.
They're the only ones, man. They're the only ones. Salute to Knicks Nation. Thank you all for tuning for another KFTV post-game live. CP is on the way. I got the text. He will be joining us momentarily. Hit that thumbs up button for your boys. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Knicks lost 114-97 to the woeful Dallas Mavericks. All right. We are taking your calls through the Discord tonight, so make sure to tap in. Make sure to go online, download the app, whatever fits your fancy. It's a great part to be part of the community, too, so make sure to go do that. And make sure to go to our website, man. Go to KnicksFanTV.com/shop and go check out some of the merch. We got a lot of good merch over there, man. We got the black hoodies back in stock. You can go get some of the New York versus the World hats as well. We got the KFTV snapbacks, too, the black, royal blue, and the navy, so make sure to go get some of those. And hey, we got the Murals crew necks as well, man. Those crew neck sweatshirts are still there, so make sure to go get some. So make sure to go to KnicksFanTV.com/shop. And also make sure to check out the Knicks Fan TV newsletter. Shout out to Jalen, Jeff, Omar. All right. Shout out to all those guys. Shout out to Chris LeBron as well. Those guys are chipping in on the newsletter and doing a fantastic job. Shout out to Remy as well. Those guys are writing some great stuff over there. They're contributing on the regular. So if you want some written content while you're on the train, heading to work, or just doing a daily commute, man, maybe you're going to school, whatever it may be, go subscribe to the newsletter, because not only will you get fantastic articles, you will also get updates about all of our sponsors, where live events are going to be, like watch parties. You'll get the shows as well through there. There's just so much to benefit from joining the newsletter. So make sure to go sign up there too. And it also takes you to the KFTV shop. So you get all in one straight to your inbox. So make sure to go check the newsletter out. Okay. Let's get back to some more calls, man. Oh, here we go. The franchise caller's on the line. You know Ari's got something to say, man. We know Ari's got something to say. My guy, Ari, you on the line, man. What's happening?
Yo, what's up? Y'all hear me?
Yes, sir,
Yes,
man.
sir.
The stage is yours. What's going on, Ari?
Yeah, not happy. Not happy. I don't know what's going on. I know Mike Brown's gonna take a lot of heat, as he should. But more importantly, I think the heat belongs to the guy who hired Mike Brown. I think it goes to the guy who gave up 5 picks for a 5-pick freaking brick, okay? For him, all right? The guy who had a clear cap, all the cap space in the world, all the draft capital in the world. And what did he do? He brought in he brought in his godson's fraternity brothers, paid them all top dollar, capped us out to oblivion, and traded every single pick for a guy who, like, not even a basketball player. Like, he's not a basketball player. He plays ball like he's coming back from an injury that he never had. He's like an interior designer, this guy, bro. He's got low blood pressure. He's anemic. I don't know what it is. It's ridiculous. Okay. Let me explain something to you. On July 6th, all right, 2024, I called in and I said, I hated that trade. All right. I said, I hated that trade. You paid 5 first-round draft picks for a guy who's a 4th option, who gave you 7 points, who can't guard the point of attack, can't hit open shots, plays with the ferocity of a tortoise, bro, okay? And then everybody in the chat can attack me, bro. John Baines, you're an idiot. Ron B's, moron. James Vegas, fool, all right? Sandman calling me a loser. You're a loser, bro. You live in your mom's basement. You guys know nothing about basketball, all right? You gave up 5 first-round picks for a guy that can't do anything? That's the reason why Giannis is not here, okay? Then you trade for Karl Anthony Towns. Granted, it's trading one problem for another problem. The dude makes $52 million a year. You gave him up a pick in that trade, too. You gave up Dante, who came off a really good year, right? I'm happy to get rid of Randall, but you put a lot of salary there. Then you double down and you pay the 5-pick brick close to $40 million a year. His contract doesn't even start till next year. His contract doesn't even start till next year. What are you going to trade that guy for? Nothing. He's a net negative asset right now. One pick. What are you getting for Anthony Towns? Nothing. We're going to fire the coach again? We're bringing another coach. No one can save this team. All right. And now we have no assets to improve the team because you traded them all for a guy who sucks at basketball. All right. So I'm not happy. Okay. Our future is screwed. Okay. This is the first time, at least when we were tanking with RJ Barrett, we had cap flexibility. We had draft picks. We could make things happen. The reason why Giannis is not a Knick is because we traded them. So what are you going to do? You're going to trade Cat for what? Jeremy Grant? That's going to win you a chip. You're going to trade Mikal Bridges for what? Trey Murphy? Good luck getting that to happen. You're not winning a chip. How are you getting this team better? You can't even tank because next year you don't have your pick. The 2029 pick, lottery pick, 2031 pick, top 5 pick. And then all these idiots in the chat throwing tomatoes at me. Ridiculous. Ridiculous, bro. Leon Rose on the hot seat. Mike Brown does not get fired until Leon Rose gets fired. All right? Fired. You don't have to do it now. You see what happens in the playoffs. Maybe we get lucky, get to the Eastern Conference, whatever. But he gets fired before anybody else. He had a clean cap and all the picks in the world, and he gave us a play-in team that doesn't even want to play for their coach, bro. And there's no way to improve the team. So I'll wait another decade on top of the 3 decades I've already waited. And that's why the Knicks will never win a championship, because you got these idiots in the chat throwing tomatoes at me for saying 5 picks is too much for a role player, because they always want to win now. They have no patience. They can't deal with the rebuild. And that's why Leon Rose gets away with murder. No. I want Leon Rose fired, bro. That's my take, man.
There's Ari. Ari coming through with the chopper, with the heat, man. And welcome to CP of the franchise for who was at the game and had to enter in on that call.
Whoa.
And first off, rate Ari's call in the chat, man. 5 being facts, 1 being trash. Let us know what you think about Ari's call right now.
Ari went ISO on the chat. That was crazy.
He was calling out names, man.
That was a classic Ari rant. Rate that call in the chat. 1 being trash, 5 being facts. Wow. That's a hard act to follow, man. Ari came out with the chopper. And salute to you guys first and foremost. Salute to the protocol. Salute to you guys. My guy Jeff, salute to you, man. Al, what's good? Haven't seen you in a while, my guy. Hope everything is well. Happy MLK Day, man. Let's salute the King. Happy birthday to the King first and foremost. Let's not let his memory live, go in vain as they try to erase his history. Salute to the King on his day. Hope everybody enjoyed their day off. Okay. Now, let's get to business, man. I was at the Garden tonight. I went tonight because I had to see what was going on for myself. I had to see what was happening with this team. Shout out my guy Lonnie. Brought me to the game as a guest, man. Salute to my guy Lonnie Johnson. Was in section 115, and this was like another Knicks therapy session, man. I walked in there with questions. CP, what's going on with the team? I left out of there with questions. CP, what's going on with the team? So y'all know how like the therapist needs a therapist, like in Sopranos or like the therapist. So I left that game. I had to call my therapist. So I had to call wifey first. Then I called my dad. Then I called JD. So on the way home from the Garden, I had to tap in. The therapist needed a therapist. I had to talk to my people, my circle, before I came on the post game to vent, because from the opening tip, it was problems. It was problems. The competitive energy of this team is gone. Their confidence is gone. Forget the defense in the garbage. Offense going through the motions. Within the first 2 seconds, it was 2 teams running at 2 different speeds. Mavericks, the number 12 team in the West, by the way, 7 players out, had that desperation. The Knicks looked like they were going through a walkthrough for the entire time. It was embarrassing. The Boo Birds were out, rightfully so, till the end. Even in the end, Alex and Jeff, when it was just me and maybe about 5 other Knicks fans left, right? In the end, because everybody had hit the exits throughout the course of the 3rd and 4th quarter. They were gone. The Boo Birds were out. Do we want Giannis chants were out. You name it. This team is cooked at this very moment. They're cooked. They are cooked. And look, two things can be true at the same time, because as I'm trying to figure out what is going on with this team, and I'm texting this guy's hit me, I'm like, what is going on? And I'm talking to people after the game. Two things can be true. If you want to talk about the dog days, the tired legs, a lot of people, former players as well, say it. Okay, I get that. However, there are still fundamental and structural issues with this roster, and that's where I really want to take this tonight. Let's start with, look, Cat, okay, you had the double-double tonight, the 20 and 14, okay, cool. Empty stats, bro. Complete empty stats. And there was no bigger play that was indicative of who he's been with this team for the last 2 years and why this team is in trouble with, you get a breakaway in that second quarter for the dunk. It's Cat in the second unit. You get the breakaway for the dunk. The next play, he thinks he's Stephen Curry and tries to do a step back by the Knick bench, pull up for three, and he kicks Dwight Powell in the nuts. I said, Lord, I hope this is a flagrant foul on Karl-Anthony Towns, because that was the stupidest thing I had ever seen in my life. That was textbook. We don't need that from our star player. We don't need it. That was the most ridiculous thing I'd ever seen. And so when people are like, man, why are you guys picking on Cat? Why are you guys picking on him? He's our highest paid player, ladies and gentlemen. If he does not make sound decisions, forget about the best shooting big man. If he does not make sound decisions up here, this team has no chance. That is why we come down on Karl-Anthony Towns. That is why when they traded Julius for Towns, and people like, CP, what do you think? I said, it's a question mark for a question mark, because you don't know what you're getting. The Minnesota fans saw this for 8 years. They knew this already. It's a question mark for a question mark. The guy is just all over the place. You can't trust him. This is why in the reel I said the 10 players I wouldn't trade for. Yeah, Karl-Anthony Towns is on that list. And when people were trying to clap back after every good game that he puts up a double-double, oh, you were so wrong, I said, hold my beer and wait a second. Because he shows you time and time again why you can't trust him, man. But that's just one thing. The defense, no matter the coach, the defensive transition defense is still terrible. Terrible. The Mavericks see these guys, and it is a layup line. That the first 3 quarters, fellas, it was a joke. A joke. I don't even know who number 10 is on the Mavericks. Forgive my lack of basketball knowledge on a global level. I thought it was Jaden Hardy for a second. I don't even know who number 10 is. He was killing them. Killing them. Josh Hart talking about, oh, man, this is embarrassing. This is embarrassing. Bro, watch your defense on Najee Marshall. He was killing you. And that's the guy that this team needs. The dog. Najee Marshall was eating their food tonight. And when I watch a guy like Najee Marshall, this has been my problem with this team for the last 2 years. We know the defense is going to be average at best. But if the 3 ball is not falling, what is your counter? Everybody is struggling to get offense right now because, one, yes, okay, they're tired, they're fatigued, they don't have the legs. Okay, Cap, you got Cap and Josh coming through with the ankles. Okay, I get that. Where's the counter? You can't even dump it down to your big man to go get your reliable high-efficiency shot. You can't do it. Because he's offensive fouling, he's hooking people, he's kicking people in the nuts, he's flailing, he's hitting the deck. They have no in-between, they have no shooting guard that can get to the rack. Mikal Bridges is doing somersaults and pirouettes to just get a layup off. It's embarrassing. They are so feast and famine on the three-point shot that when it's not falling, on top of the fact that you're a terrible defensive team, this is the result that you get. 4 losses in a row, and terrible, terrible, terrible results. They don't have it. So when I look at a guy like a Najee Marshall, I'm jealous, fellas, because I'm like, this is what we need right now. They don't have it. They can't even get a guy that can get to the free throw line. Yes, at times it can be Josh. He looked like him and both him and Jalen. They came back tonight. They were not moving well. I didn't think that either one of them were moving particularly well, especially Josh. Looked a little bit laboring. At times, he can be that guy, Jeff and Alex. At times, it can be OG when his handles is correct. Never Macau. And when your big man can't do it, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. So this is what I mean. The two things can be true. I spoke to like probably the 6th person tonight. Right, Al? Steph talked about it, the dog days. Melo has talked about it, the dog days. I speak to people connected to the players. It's a dog days. Trainers, it's a dog days. Okay, I get all of that, but it's still the players on this team, the mix. There's something not mixing. And yes, we can blame it on Brown, but this is a second coach. It's a second guy. Right? So there are issues with the roster. And as Ari said, not immediately fixable. So the improvement has to come from within. We saw Cap call the roster out, call the guys out on the sideline. Cap was visibly frustrated. I got wind that Mike Brown ripped into these guys at halftime. Okay? Mike Brown ripped into these guys at halftime. But it shouldn't even come to this. How you have the number 12 team in the West, 7 guys down, and they are running laps. They're running a layup line on you. A Princeton offense, a Princeton drill, a weave, 3-man weave on you.
32 fast break points by the Dallas Mavericks to 4.
Crazy. They said as soon as Clay's lady sat down on baseline, she was sitting next to Patrick Ewing, he turned back the clock to the Golden State days. Yeah, Klay Thompson out there looking like the old Klay the Klay of old.
He was cooking so crazy, people started asking, yo, is Meg there? And the minute you got confirmation Meg was there, I thought it was 2015.
So it's like a lot of that. And now I have to also ask and question the captain. Yes, it is that time. It is that time. Because I'm asking this question, fellas, time and time again, and I'm asking it too much. We had Julius here. They still can't get a 2-man game done. Different coach. You got Towns here, same coach as Tibbs. They still can't get a 2-man game going. You get Brown here, different coach, same 2. You still can't get a 2-man game going. The 2 of them had 20-plus points tonight, never feeding off of each other. So I got to question Cap now, bro. Because, again, I'm in there. I'm not only watching the game, I'm fact-finding. I'm digging in. I'm tapping in. Okay? Conversations being had. So I'm with the Cap situation, it's like, bro, like, you're the head of the snake. You got a big man that can't get out of his own way. You've got to rein him in as the point guard. This is now your second Robin, your second coach. And they still can't figure out a way to get some cohesiveness going with your 2 best players. That can't work that way, fellas. It can't work. It can't work that way. How is it that your 2 potential all-stars, we'll see if Cap makes it, they continue to play this in spite of each other? So that's what I mean. Like, okay, 2 things can be true. Yes, you can say, all right, the NBA Cup, they had extra games. They tied, da-da-da. Maybe after All-Star, maybe they get it back. But still, within this roster, the issues still remain under a new coach. These are the same issues from last year. It's the same issues. The questions about Cat, the questions about the 2-man game with Cap and Brunson, the questions about Mikal Bridges. It's the same thing. Shout out to Mitchie. Great effort tonight. And Mitchie came out There was a lot of conversation about what's going on with him. He talked about it. He's going through things. He had a mental breakdown. He was very vulnerable out there on social media. I give the Block That's Monster Big Country a lot of credit. Maybe basketball is his therapy because he does it so well. Did a good job out there for his team tonight. He was the only one when you were searching for energy. He was the only one to give it to you when he came into the game. Wasn't enough, but shout out to Mitchie for stepping up for his team. Because I could not believe, I had a great seat. I could not believe the effort from the opening tip, bro. I couldn't believe it, Jeff. I said, bro, is this the third quarter? The effort was down the toilet. It was lousy. Every guy just walking through the motions. Okay, here's a handoff here. Here's a handoff here. What are you going to do? Here's a handoff here. Up, brick. And here goes the Mavs. Indy 500 the other way. Layup. Najee Marshall. Shot and the foul. Three-point shot going up. At one point, they were like 50-50 three-pointers and field goals. Meanwhile, the Knicks are shooting like 10% from downtown. It's deep. It's deep, man. It's deep. That's why I said I had to call my therapist. It's deep. I'm not saying it's insurmountable, fellas. There's a lot going on in that place right now. I can tell you that. There's a lot going on.
Looks like a lot, man. I mean, you just see it. You just see it. There's no connectivity between the coaches, the players, anybody. It just points out through the screen, man. And the fact what bothered me, and now that you said Mike Brown, like gave a halftime speech, you could see the energy jumped up in the third. I'm like, wait a minute. Why are you guys now putting in the energy now that you're down 30 right now? Where was this from the jump? Where was it? They were having the whole conversation of like 20-something to 2 for fast break points. But CP, to your point of like the dog days, it's like, I feel like everyone is trying to hide what is truly going on in this locker room right now, and they're trying to give the Knicks way too much credit of what's happening. But there is something that got cut deep in that locker room, man. There is something that got cut deep because this is more than just basketball. This is just more than basketball, man. Because there's no way you come out there and you do not have that connectivity. It's not even walking through the motion, CP. It's not even a walkthrough at this point. It is downright embarrassing. And I don't know what. There's not a trade. There's nothing that could correct this thing, man. These guys got to talk, work it through themselves, and just get it over with. Because this team, what it feels like to me is that everyone's too nice and no one wants to cross the boundary of just saying, hey, this is my issue with you and this is your issue with me. Let's get it over with and let's just keep playing basketball, man. Everyone's too nice. Just get it over with, man.
It's deep, man. Like I said, from what I gathered tonight, there's separate agendas. There's politics. They're not together. From what I gathered. They're not together right now, man. They're not together. They are playing in spite of each other. And now, again, if you have the dead legs, the pressure and all of that, this is the time when you got to come together and figure stuff out. So I'm sure you're going to hear in the coming days that there was a players-only meeting and all of this. All of that is going to happen soon because you saw it from the Brunson reaction. The Brown, as I told you, how Brown ripped at him in halftime. Brown, post-game, hey, he ain't come with that country bumpkin stuff tonight, Jeff.
He didn't. He came through
super laconic. Few words.
Okay. So there you go. That was from the halftime speech carrying over to the media.
So CP, it's no secret that you're connected. You hear the whispers, the sea of information flows to you. But even the least connected person can see there's something wrong.
Yeah.
I've been my tagline throughout this whole postgame has been, what the F happened on New Year's Eve? What happened after that game that sent this entire operation into a tailspin? And I think Alex pointed to something really important. It's time for y'all to have a real talk conversation. And I don't even think at this point it's players only. I think as a team, y'all need to air everything out. As a team, y'all need to air everything out. Who got issues with who? Who did somebody dirty? Did you not get the right Rolex from Mikhail and you sick? And now you taking it out on the court?
Your Rolex
Did you not get the invite to game night? And y'all don't want to talk? Nobody want to step on each other's toes. If y'all are really for real brothers like that in basketball, you should be able to have a real conversation with each other and get to the bottom of it. Because at the end of the day, there's only one goal. And everybody will cook. I think a lot of these players don't really understand that immortality is staring them in the face every year. And it's a different type of immortality in New York. I don't care about them other cities. They don't matter right now. You win in New York, you live forever. And it seems like they want to die on selfishness and their individual principles instead of living together and going towards that pantheon of New York champions.
Yeah.
Why do you think Eli can walk around and do whatever he wants in this tri-state forever? Forever. Because of 18-1, 20-1, 0-2. That's what he put up against the one of the greatest teams in this century and won it in the biggest stage for a New York team. And maybe they too rich. Maybe they don't really care. But I'll tell you this much. This city wants players who will care. This city would have been rocking for that Mavs team.
Yeah.
Rocking for that Mavs team if the jerseys were different. And if you're not with the program, then you need to go at this point. And what you said about Brunson was really, really poignant because, like I told Alex a little while ago, that C is getting heavy.
It's getting heavy.
That C on your chest is getting heavy. It wasn't decoration. This wasn't a Gucci shirt. This means something, and it's supposed to mean something. And he gets as much grace as anyone because he's shown when the chips are on the table, he cashes out and he makes it happen, right? But when we're seeing the same issues repeat, leadership starts at the top. It starts at the buck stops with leadership, and you are leadership. So where else are we supposed to go but start with you? Why is it that sometimes y'all run the pick and roll with Cat and he pops and you act like you don't see him? I've seen that time and time again. And this is early. Why is it when you get everybody involved early, y'all look like world beaters? This is a simple game. It's not complex. Y'all have no more grace to use anymore. The goodwill is gone. You've lost your margin for error now. Now you got to figure it out.
Yeah. I can say that I can't speak for everybody and, all of that, but I can say that there is an expectation by some to see Cap sacrifice a little bit more for the betterment of the team. And there is a belief where that's part of why the defense is not as potent as it should be. I mean, look at Mitch, prime example. The better you get Mitch involved, the better he is on the other side. And I think it's the same thing for others where it's like, sometimes they can be a bit demoralized or dejected if the rock isn't coming to them or, if they're not getting opportunities in the offense. And I think it has cascading impacts on the rest of the team. And so, like you said, Cap, being the captain, being the leader of the team, he's got to do a little bit more. He just came back tonight. He's got to do a little bit more. He's got to do more. He's got to do more.
But CP, Jeff, that's such a simple concept, though. It's like you could just play pickup basketball. You can see the guys who get frustrated where it's like some guy's hogging the rock, taking all the shots, and then you stop hustling back on defense. It's like, why am I going to run back for you if all I know that on the other side, you're going to run back down, put up a shot, and I got to get back down there anyway. And when you start feeding people, even the people who aren't necessarily the best at pickup, and guys are staying involved, guys start to get active, guys start to feel a bit more involved. Everyone starts to feel together, part of that team. It does not surprise me if what you're saying is like you're asking for. It's not only JB, they're asking Cat. Why these guys got sacrificed? Look, we knew coming into this when OG wanted to be traded, he wanted a bigger offensive role, man. You can sense that he wants a bigger offensive role. him tweeting between the legs is damn near a cry for help, saying, "Hey man, can I please get more looks for myself?" Right? And this is what I'm looking at for like everybody else. It's just like it's just that simple if it is, man. But like it's everyone's got to sacrifice in some way or another. It's even like Mikal Bridges just finishing a play but driving through contact, man. Can we get that?
I don't. That's a foreign concept to me, man, because I haven't seen it. And again, like I said, I'm seeing Najee Marshall. He's just going. He's everything that this team needs. Downhill to the cup. I said it. I put a tweet out there early. Maybe it might have been first quarter, second quarter, and I'm looking up at the scoreboard. They were literally shooting 9% from three, and I see that, and I'm watching. And nobody can attack the basket. Remember, the roommates just came back. Neither one of them are moving particularly well, especially Josh, because he is kind of your downhill threat, if you want to consider that. You know, Deuce, poor Deuce, because Deuce can't separate. He's trying to mix. Deuce is trying to mix his way into a jumper. I said, all right, Deuce, it's not your night tonight, probably tomorrow. He's the hottest player on the team. He got cooled off tonight. But it's just indicative of this team's inability, especially at the guard spot, to just go put pressure on the rim, make the Zebras call something, and get your team some opportunities to get free points. That's what the Mavericks did. They were so balanced tonight. They were so balanced. Give credit. You know, the number one pick, the Rook, he had his moments. I believe it was in the third quarter or so, when he came out the gates with like 7 straight points. You know, then Najee had his moments. You know, Max Christie, the corner threes, number 10, was cooking Cap and everybody else getting to the paint. Like, they all had their moments. The big man blocking shots, then they're feeding him. Everybody ate on that Mavs team. A team that was 7 players short and the 12th team in the West. They came into your building and dragged you across the bar. Not a good look, bro.
Random
Let me shout
boys
out my
the
guy,
gym.
Dragged him. Let me shout out my guy, Christopher Abbott. I was literally sitting behind him. Shout out my guy, Christopher Abbott, man. Franchise channel member. $50 super chat for my guy. He says, we need a dog. He said, what's Ennis Cantor doing? Ennis Freedom. He said, this was tough. They got to come together, start playing for each other. We'll find it. Shout out KFTV fam. Let's go. Shout out my guy, Christopher Abbott, in the building, man. Yeah. They're at the midway point. It's time. But, you know, you felt the frustration from the opening tip. You felt the frustration. You felt the pressure, especially when they got down early. But you just didn't see any punch early. I was like, yo, what is it? What's going on here? We got the roommates back. You're at home. One of the worst teams in the league, just by standings-wise. And they dominated the Knicks. Did the Knicks even have a lead? This was a wire-to-wire victory for the Mavs.
Wire to wire. Wire to wire.
Can't have that, man. Can't have that. Roommates got to put the podcast down. Put the podcast. Put the podcast on the shelf, man, and lock in. Y'all trying to win a championship, all right? I don't need the podcast with Edie Falco. I'll skip that one, okay? Lock in and get to it, all right? I'm sorry, Jeff. The guests are lackluster. I don't need to see the Steve Stripper podcast. Nah, lock in and work on your craft.
Listen, I feel you in a vacuum, but to me, I almost want them to keep going because they talk real on that pod about what's going on. They don't give the cookie cutter answer. Like when they read Josh's text message to Jalen about what's going on with y'all and halftime, and dudes is letting cats run around like they Pac. But yeah, man, this is what happens when you go on these type of losing streaks where it looks like you don't even want to compete. We can handle losing. But looking like you don't even want to compete, what did you win? Y'all haven't really won anything. Y'all haven't won nothing to warrant this.
But Jeff,
put it up. Podcast P hung it up. What Fred VanVleet say? When I'm coming back, I'm locking in with my team. Fred VanVleet ain't even with it. He's hurt.
Jeff,
put the thing on the shelf, Mary, right now, man. Lock it. They got to lock in.
Jeff, to your point, though, that's the whole thing about the about Ian Begley's tweet from Miles McBride. CB, did you see that one?
No, I didn't. Shout out to my guy Begley though, man. Shout out to Ian. I ran into him as soon as I got to the garden. I saw him. It was funny. He didn't have the Ian Begley traditional blazer on. He was coming in as, you know, Ian from Rockland County. I said, bro, where the blazer at? He had it in the bag. I said, yo, you super bad. Dapped him up, gave him a hug. It was good to see Ian in the building. What McBride say?
So this is I read this earlier in the show, but for you to know, so Ian Begley tweeted this, and I quote, "One thing Miles McBride mentioned in post-game interview was guys possibly getting too comfortable because of success, both last year and earlier this year." He said winning earlier this year masked some of the New York Knicks' issues. Those issues still remain, but as McBride noted, Knicks have been playing higher caliber opponents, and the Knicks have dropped 9 of the last 11.
Yeah. Well, Deuce is a guy who does not mince words. You know, shout out to Deuce. You guys saw it on, you know, Vegas Pod. Like he called out Tibbs last year when they got exited by the Pacers. So Deuce definitely doesn't mince words, and he has a right to say that because Deuce is one of the few players that is producing consistently on this team. So he could be right. You know, maybe they're feeling themselves a little bit, and they are the hunted this year. It's a different ball game. They are the hunted. You're getting every team's best shot. You could see it. And that was indicative by tonight.
I mean, it's one thing to feel yourself. It's another thing to go out and play like trash. Like to play like you don't care. Because at some point, even if you're feeling yourself, you're going to care and you're going to step up. And that's what we've been seeing, the inconsistent play from half to half. Y'all take halves off. It's inexplicable. They came out. The Mavs scored 39 points in the second half and still almost put the Knicks in the dub club.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy. If they played like that the whole game, the score would be reversed.
Reversed. I said, forget the final score. Y'all lost by 30 in my book. Y'all lost by 30.
That's right.
Y'all had this team. That team put up a 30-point dub. That's you know, in Madden where you got to pass the sticks. The game was already over. Y'all lost by 30 in my book.
Can't even rage quit.
You can't
even rage quit.
Give the sticks up, man. So yeah, shout out to Deuce. Deuce taking on a leadership role. Interesting times that we are in. For sure. Very interesting times that we are in. Did we run through the key stats of the night, Al?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I told them the key stats of the night are just gonna be a tomato on the screen.
Why would I? Key stats of the night. There are none.
Yeah,
there are none.
Heinz, Cholula. What's a salsa company? Y'all need to sponsor KFTV because that's gonna be the key stats of the night, bro.
Yeah, straight up tomato. It's rough, man. Shout out to STGNick. I did see him on the way out. Shout out to STG for sure. Shout out to everybody we saw at the Garden. Brutal. Absolutely brutal, man. Let's see. You know, when I saw Ian, he's like, yeah, you know, what do you think? I was like, they shouldn't have no problem tonight.
So much for my so much for my 2-1, man.
Yeah, I said 3-0. Didn't I say 3-0? Very confident.
You said 3-0.
No problem, Alex. What do you do? You 2-1. You shook. We good.
What was the game where if the Knicks didn't win, there were reports that Tibbs was going to get axed? That was against Cleveland, right?
Oh, you're talking about years ago. You're talking about years ago.
A couple of years ago.
That was against Dallas.
That was that Dallas. Was that against Dallas?
It was after Dallas that he got the report saying, "Hey, if he didn't win the next couple, he was gonna get fired."
Alex, CP, boy, Wednesday is Game 7. Wednesday is Game 7. If Michael Porter Jr. The Nets and the Brooklyn Nets come in and do the Williamsburg boot brunch stomp in the Garden, they got Ellie dancing in halftime and dancing on the court, bruh.
You lose a battle.
I don't know what's going to happen.
That game is in Brooklyn.
I don't know what's going to happen.
It's in Brooklyn or
New York?
Park Slope, Williamsburg, one of them cities. One of them cities. I still thought they were in New Jersey. I ain't gonna hold you. They might be in Patterson at this point.
No, they're home. They're home in Madison Square Garden for this one, gentlemen.
You got the Garden.
Yes.
Battle of the boroughs. You lose battle of the boroughs. That's tough.
So battle of the bro, this is a fight for your life.
Yeah.
This is a fight for your jobs, bro. And I didn't think why are we here at this moment in January? But boy, even though the Nets aren't even a blip on the radar, if they do what the Mavs did to y'all on Wednesday, I can't blame what type of reaction is going to happen next. That panic button is going to get smashed. If it ain't already hit already, what else are we going to do? What else can we do as analysts, as media, as fans? What else is there to say? Did y'all get body snatched? Someone's got to answer for it.
You had a packed house tonight. The young whippersnappers was in there heavy. It's MLK Day. Kids had off from school. I had a young whippersnapper behind me. It's probably my son's age. He couldn't be older than maybe 7. And the kid said, if Tracy McGrady could score 7 points in 13 seconds, so could you. I said, yo, shout out to the young generation, man. You know, YouTube is giving them their history in rapid fire, man. I said, bro, that's it. Right, reminded me of my son. But yeah, man, you know, the young whippersnappers there. People pay good money. It's off night, MLK Day. Those are the games. Back in the day, the MLK Day used to be a layup for the Knicks, right? They used to play the Hawks. They used to play the Grizzlies. It was a light work game. MLK Day, you get smoked by 30 points to the Mavericks.
I mean, technically, it still was a layup for this team, CP. They just blew it.
Yeah, you're right.
Dude, this is when you book your homecoming versus Alcorn State. This isn't supposed to be. This isn't supposed to be a problem, bro. What are we doing here? You got. Go ahead, man.
No, I'm just to say, no, you brought me back to my school days because that sure was a couple of homecoming dates.
Right. You
And
let
then
Grambling come into the Garden and run it up on you. You let freaking Utah
run it up.
Occidental University come into the Garden and bro, they had their whole squad.
Yeah.
CP don't even know the names of players. That was Musa Cisse and Brendan Williams and going crazy. Going crazy.
So is that Jaden Hardy? Okay. No, it wasn't even Jaden Hardy. It was Brendan Williams. I said, oh man.
Bro.
But he did when they played them in Dallas, right? Didn't he have
he went crazy too. Brendan Williams,
He
went crazy. He was looking like Maxey in the Dallas game. He a dog.
Yeah.
He a dog. It must be nice.
Tough.
It must be nice to have dogs in your squad.
And I'm in the family section, so like there was a smattering of Mavs fans in there, and I'm hearing them like yelling at Knicks. They're talking about go home because you know some of the younger, some not younger, some of the just Knicks fans, period, season ticket holders and everything. They hit the exits from the third quarter. You know, some people was trying to get back. What's up? What's the score of the Miami game, championship game? I don't know, but some people was trying to get back for the game, and I hear Mav fan talking about go home. I said, oh my God, this guy's sending people packing from the Garden. And this is embarrassing, man. And what can we say? They lost a wire-to-wire game. I couldn't even defend the team. What could I say?
Fam, Jaylen Brown is single-handedly willing the Celtics to, I think they could win the East with a band of misfits and Derek White. So much so that Tatum is like, hey, I'm a push because we might be able to take advantage of this.
Well said, bro.
All-star starter off of elevating his game and elevating his team so that they wouldn't quit and take the gap year. What's your excuse?
What's your excuse? And this is how you know there are major problems with this team, bro. Major problems.
Do you feel like Cat is getting scapegoated, or do you think it's the blame is properly being placed?
Well, absolutely, probably being placed. Absolutely. This is who he is, and this is why I was like, again, with the Julius thing. It's not an I told you so type of thing. It's just like, you know, when people are like, what do you think? I'm like, I don't know what to tell you, man. Let's see how it plays out. But in some nights, you almost miss Julius is the dog in Julius.
The playmaking,
right?
too.
The playmaking. The attacking the basket. Even with the spin-overs. You could still trust Julius to get you a high-efficiency bucket through contact and play strong. You miss it. It's missed. I'm not gonna lie to you. I hope Robert Randall's not watching this because he'll probably clip it up and try to put it out there. I hope Sergeant Sources isn't watching this. But yeah, it is, man. The guy has no respect. Like, the opposing team doesn't respect him. His teammates don't respect him. The refs don't respect him. It's tough. It's tough. Very tough to rally behind him. And his decision-making, like I said, when I saw the step-back thing where he damn near almost landed on the Knick bench, I said, what the hell was that?
It's bad also because, and we were talking about it real quick before you got on, CP. It screams to me that there wasn't a demonstrative showing of support after that Draymond dirty play. And you know, I'm gonna save the rants I've been having about the type of fans we got in this fan base who don't know the difference between setting a boundary and all out war. They feel like if I tell you to set a boundary and stack up for somebody, I'm telling you to shoot a person or to stab them or something like that. No, I saw a Timberwolves team boycott the TNT post game because Draymond was on it.
Yes.
And they had to do the post game just talking to each other. No players from the Timberwolves that won that game in the Western Conference Finals were going to go to that post game because of what happened between Gobert and Draymond and Cat and Draymond. That's solidarity. No matter how you felt about Cat as a teammate, this is what we do as a team. This is leadership. This is a team decision because I know Ant was at the forefront of that. Because if you're his teammate, you're his teammate. Even if you leave the team, he still got love for you. Like you on the team. I bet Mike Conley's gentlemanly self was even like, yeah, that's a bridge too far. We not going over there. So when you have a guy who's waged a 2-year war in media against your man, to the point where he suggested that Towns was ducking a game when he was at a funeral without any insight, knowing that you're connected enough where you could have found out why he wasn't at that game. But you perpetuated a narrative and then doubled down on it. And y'all show no type of resistance to a dude who's clearly trying to attack your guy. It makes me ask questions. Because even if I don't like you, I love you as a teammate, and I'm gonna hold you down. And this is the type of stuff we're seeing. Now those little fissures look like major fractures.
There you go. It was bad optics, man. That was not a good look. And it's not about other people's like, oh, well, you think the whole team is supposed to, punch the guy? No.
Suckers, man.
That's not it. But nobody came to this guy's defense at all. Like, yes, I get it. He needs to defend himself and all that. Okay, fine. But nobody came to his defense. You had the coach bear hugging these guys. Like, bro, you haven't been there in damn near 10 years. Knock it off with the whole reunion stuff. Like, you've been back there as a coach with the Kings. You've been back there against them in the playoff. Knock it off with the whole, oh man, I missed you guys. They're acting like he just left the Warriors last year. Mike Brown was wrong for that. Rick was wrong for that. The entire team was wrong for that. Straight up and down.
But is it surprising when we get I keep going back to when you get that article from Cats and Trilogy talking about how the entire team was worried about Katz's understanding of the defensive schematics of last year's postseason.
Yeah.
And not one person came out to refute that.
Yeah, not at all.
Not one person.
No pushback, no resistance.
Yeah. If you think about it, they've never really pushed back on anything that's been put out there.
Silence is loud, bro.
The silence is loud.
And you know what? You can't Derek Jeter your way out of everything. At some point, you got to give some answers, bro.
Right. Hang on. STG, shout out STGNick. Again, but pull up Steve Popper, put up something on Twitter. Is anything relevant we need to react to right away? STG says you see Steve Popper's reporting. Al, check that out. Let's check that out.
Looking for it right now.
Yeah. Salute to everybody in the chat. Salute to our franchise channel members. Anthony Parasol, I see you in here. Salute STG as well. We'll get to a couple calls before we wrap. Shout out DJ Edsy, London fan. Everybody throw your cities, throw your countries in the chat. Let us know that you're in here. Well, STG, which tweet are you talking about on Steve Popper? What are you talking about, STG? What are we talking about? Anything? Mike Brown empties the bench. Okay, is this
nothing?
Okay. Gamba producer says he doesn't see anything. Let's get to STG then. Let's bring him in and hear what he had to say. Let me bring him in on the Discord. STG, are you there? STGNick, going once, going once.
Yes. Oh yeah. How you doing, guys? Oh yeah. So I saw it was posted. I believe it was in probably one of his articles that the Knicks are open. Let me read you the exact quote here from the article. It says whispers around the league have begun to speculate on the possibility of the Knicks moving Towns. His name surfaced when the Bucks and the Knicks discussed the chance of a deal involving Giannis Antetokounmpo. But now league sources said that the talks involved other teams, including Memphis, Orlando, and Charlotte.
Well, I mean, from the Memphis standpoint, is it time for Triple J? Be interesting.
You know, it's interesting for sure. I think, you know, someone like that definitely solves the defensive issues, but it's a lot, you know, going on right now with the deadline approaching. But as tonight's game goes, it was definitely, as you said, I mean, from the get-go, the energy was just dead on the team's part. They fell down 13-4 timeout, and it was just a lot of young kids in the building. It was like, damn, it was just like, wish they were able to, you know, show up for the crowd. It was just definitely, it was just a depressing game for sure.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, whispers around the league. Again, I'll send you this right now. Whispers around the league say that Towns could be on the block. Name surfaced. Speculating on the possibility. Hey, listen, that's all I heard when I walked into that building tonight. That's literally all I heard. I didn't even take my jacket off before people talk about me. Straight down. So he's on point. You know, will Leon pull the trigger? I did take a candid photo of the front office, and Gamba, you want to pull that up as well? They were all there.
Yeah, they were not happy. They were not happy. They were not happy at all. I sit directly across from them at 117, and there was a time when there was a wide open, you know, Knicks were getting ran laps defensively. They had one, you know, wide open layup. Leon went down the tunnel into the executive suite, kind of like just put his head down. He rarely ever gets up, so I thought that was interesting. And one more thing before I go also is that I think it was reported, but I noticed it as well. Dolan wasn't even in a seat in the second half, which is like that never happens because he always comes out late in the second half, like maybe 5-6 minutes in, but he never showed up after the second half. He was gone.
Okay. Interesting tidbits from STGNick. When's the trade deadline again? Are we about a month out now? It's before All-Star, correct?
Yeah.
February 5th, I think.
Okay. All right. Yeah, Thomas in the chat. Dolan left the seat at halftime. Never came back.
T-minus 2 weeks and 3
T-minus 2
days.
weeks. Yeah.
Yep, it is February 5th, just confirming.
Yeah. I mean,
3 p.m.
I totally wouldn't be surprised. I would just be interesting to see what they can pull out with that deal and how much closer it gets them to their goal. I think that's the thing for me. I wouldn't be surprised if they dealt him. No, I wouldn't.
Should I do a little quick fanspo to see what that trade looks like?
We'll be here forever. That's a separate episode. We almost on 2 hours on post game. Let's get to some callers and then we'll wrap. Did we get to Grabba already, Al?
No, not yet.
Okay, Grabba on the Discord. Get on mute your mic, Grabba.
Yo, I'm in the spot.
Yes, rapid fire, please. We got a couple calls we got to get to, and we want to wrap. So rapid fire, please. One
I
take.
got you. Hey, look, man, I told you the last couple times I called in that 2-man game is non-existent. This team, they're playing in spite of each other. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the coach. I don't know, like, you know, they just not feeling it. And you know, Jalen was on the bench trying to talk them and get them back into the game. They down 17 at that point, and then they finished the half down by 28. You know, so like, you know, as the leader, it starts with you. You got to set that example. I don't need you being the greatest defensive player out there, but like, TJ McConnell, he go out there and he hustle. He work you the same size. Like, just show your guys that for a possession or two, you dig in and you try to get a stop. You try to make something happen. You know what I'm saying? Got to get the 2-man game going. I bought a Cat jersey this year. That was a bad investment. Man, looking like he about to get up out of here. I don't know. I'm spiraling. The team is spiraling. I need to sip something tonight. My head hurt. I was crying. I was laughing. This team got me feeling all types of emotions. I ain't felt like this, and even when the team was dirt, we was winning 17 games. I ain't feel like this. Like, it's just a terrible feeling, man. I don't know. I'm trying to keep my head up. I hope everybody else try to keep their head up. We gonna be all right. Hopefully, I'm all over the place, man. I'm gonna holler at y'all, man.
Grabba on the Discord. Hey, man, I'll tell you, man, just grab some Grabba and, whatever else, sprinkle that in and get to it, man. We're going to let you get to it, man. Poor guy. Said he bought a Towns jersey. Said it's a lemon. Hey, maybe try to get them letters off and throw McDaniels on there. He's 30. He's 32. Throw a little X-Man on there. So, damn. It's brutal. Brutal, man.
Oh,
Absolutely.
man. Yo, it's been a month, bro.
It has been a month.
It's been a month.
Man.
Yo.
You win an NBA Cup?
Exactly. It's almost like 2 seasons from the NBA Cup.
Yeah, you're holding the trophy. Everyone's happy.
This doesn't even happen.
Should we hang the banner or not? Now it's like, damn, is Cat getting traded? Who needs to go?
Damn. Grabba stressed.
Yo.
All right, let's get to the next caller, man. Let's go to Ashwin from India. Ashwin, rapid fire. Let's go.
Okay, CB, I know we have to be rapid fire, so give me couple more seconds. Okay. See, our starting 7 is incredibly talented, and this is the same team that won us the NBA Cup. The same coaches, same game plan, same defensive monster OG, who isn't fighting around the screens so hard for past month. Same Mikhail who used to get angry on his teammates and used to call them out when they didn't hustle back. But now he is not doing the same himself, who was incredibly efficient before NBA Cup, but now he isn't. If it's the same team, same player, same coach, the players suddenly turned bad or the coaches suddenly turned bad? There can only be 2 reasons, right? Okay, so either coach lost the team or chemistry is gone. But the thing is, there is no reason for coach to lose the team because everything is same. They won the NBA Cup while playing such great games. So the only reason I think is that our players have started to realize that no matter how much effort they put on defense, one player will negate all those effort. No matter how much OG fights over screen, Cat will drop back and won't defend anything. No matter how much Mikhail hustles back, he knows there's a 55 million player laying on his ground at his will while team plays defense 4 on 5. Today Brunson also said we did not follow the game plan at all. Does it sound like they are not following the coach? You all talked about how they did not help Cat with that stuff when Draymond tripped him. I might be wrong, but I think this team is completely done with Cat. And when the chemistry is gone, nobody shoots better. It's the most obvious fact of NBA. When there's no chemistry, the shooting goes down to slumps. So that's what I think has happened. And I don't know what will be the solution, but it has to be done with Cat involved. And the Mikhail thing, I know we expect so much from him, but it's not his fault. He did not ask 5 picks. So he can be better, but it's not his fault. The 5 picks it increases how we view his faults. That's all, man.
Good call, Ashwin from India. Rate that call in the chat. 1 being trash, 5 being facts. Said, man, once it's gone, it's gone. He says he don't think this team rocks with Cat like that. I think he's right. I think he's right, man. I'm looking right now. Indiana up 17-7 on Miami. Miami tight end just got laced. Carson Beck just laid him out to dry.
Hospital ball MVP Carson Beck.
Yeah. 3 minutes left in the third. Miami at home for this championship game. Where the hell did Indiana even come from? Their program has been building up for this moment. Number 1 in the nation, and looking good right now in the driver's seat. Miami's got some soul search to do. I'm going for the U. I want to see Michael Everett crash out tonight. crash out. I'm trying to see the playmaker go crazy. What's up, man? Carson Beck, come on, man. Let's get us back into it. Here we go. Let's see. He's on the 40-yard line. Oh, he's scrambling. He's scrambling. Nobody's open. Here we go. He's got somebody. He's got him. Number 7. Okay.
He's
Miami
like
cooking
35. I would expect him to step up in this game.
Right.
The hell?
I feel
I
like
mean,
we've been talking about Carson Beck for 10 years now. I said, bro,
Undergrad, grad.
still
You
in
know who
college.
he's like? He's like Perry Ellis at
Yeah.
Kansas. You remember Perry? I was like, yo, when is this dude leave? And this was back when they were playing for 4 years. I was like, yo, how many degrees can you get, fam?
He's on that Chris Winkie thing. You know, he's on that Chris Winkie, man. They told my man from Ole Miss. They said, yo, you've been here for too long. You got to go to the pros, man.
Get a job.
My man said, I'm coming here for year 6. They said, no, you wilding now, fam. You wilding.
Did the red shirt? Then
Yeah.
did the 5 years?
My man
of
said he's
eligibility?
to a professional college athlete. They said, nah, buddy, we ain't got no more NILs for you, man. You got to go to the pros, man. That's it. That's crazy. That's crazy work. Hey, at least they kept it real. They said, hey, kids is getting paid, So go ahead, man. Get your money, young whippersnappers. Okay, a couple more before we wrap. We in here cooking. Nick Stink, let us know why you're mad. Spookydukie, get unmute your mic. Do we got Spookydukie on the Discord?
Hello. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, new caller. What's your name? Where you calling in from?
I called in once before. Name is Eliza. Originally from Yonkers, out in LA.
Nice.
I'm out here by myself, so there's no Knicks fans really around me. So I'm just gonna list around. I know rapid fire, so I'm just gonna list the things I'm tired of.
Okay.
I'm tired of waiting to see the replay and the whole crowd goes crazy and we need to challenge it. And by the time Mike Brown looks up, the game has already started and can't challenge anything. I'm tired of also, because I'm not giving bail to Mike Brown. This is another one. I'm tired of watching him watch anybody get dogged, specifically Josh Hart today, get dogged by Najee Marshall for about 15 points before we do anything about it. I'm tired of watching us lose to teams that are like Sacramento, Phoenix. Today, the Mavericks by 25, 30, and these guys are bottom of the barrel teams. I'm tired of watching Cat punch literally every player in the face on his way to the rim, and he gets called for everything. And I'm just tired. I'm just tired of this team, man.
Hang in there, man. What you say? You in LA?
Yeah, man, I'm in LA, man. Only one out here. I tap in with 33 taps sometimes, but
I'm about to say, you better tap in with them. If you tap in with them, you ain't the only one, man. They get it popping out there. Left coast.
I mean, yeah, they do their thing. But once I'm not at 33 tap, hey, man, I'm like a fly in the milk carton,
Yeah. Well, that's why you got us, man. So thanks for tapping in, man. We
Yeah.
appreciate you venting.
Can we also talk about the whistle? I know we're not like supposed to be talking to the referees that we're not getting our calls, but like Mike, can you say something? Like this whistle is gotten worse.
Haven't seen it. Has he picked up a tech yet this year? Haven't seen him fighting for his guys.
I'd rather somebody get a tech and get thrown out the game before I watch Towns get a clear shot to the basket and they call offensive foul on him, or we just get no call at all for Jalen Brunson. He just got just demolished by the ankle.
Appreciate the call.
Somebody do something.
Keep hope alive, man. Spookydukie on the Discord. Rate that call in the chat.
Thank you.
Trash, 5 being facts. My man is aggravated. Shout out to Spookydukie, man. I felt that call. And the reason I felt it, fellas, was because there was literally, 2 things I noticed, especially with the challenge. I literally had a fan behind me talking about, Mike, please challenge anything, please.
It's been too many times.
A stark departure from the Tibbs days, and then there was one where Brunson smacked down on the ball. It looked like it was all
Clean.
ball.
He's
He's looking at the bench like, yo, what we doing? And then no action there from what's my man's name? Summer League coach that handles the replay, and then Mike Brown. Stark departure from the Tibbs days. I'm like, bro, you're down by 100 points. Like, let's try to let's try to get something our way because we can't play defense. Might as well try to use the technology. Let AI help us get a stop here. Nothing from.
But CP, this goes back to like the third quarter against the Suns, where Devin Booker, like the Knicks still have one foul to give before going into the bonus. They don't use it, and instead they foul him as he's in the motion of shooting. And it's like, who's communicating to the player saying, "Yo, whatever you do, don't let Booker get set up for a shot. Go foul him before that even happens. We got one more to give." Like this is just it's on everybody, man. This is on everybody. It's not just the players. It's also on the head coach. The head coach has got to figure out how to get these guys motivated. That is part of his job too.
Yeah.
Get these guys motivated and get these guys in line. I think like these guys just got to talk it out, man.
They got to talk it out.
Talk it out.
I did notice that when Cat caught Dwight Powell in the nuts with the most ridiculous step back three, I saw how Powell caught him, got him back, and they never called it. I thought that was interesting. I was like, yo, he clearly got Cat back in the second half, and there was no stoppage of play review. Maybe the Knicks should have fought for that. Interesting. You saw that, right, Jeff? You noticed that?
I did. And they could have challenged that and at the very least got a tech or something on Powell. But I could also see the refs were probably just like, yo, he got to get one back, bro. Like he's getting his ass whooped, right? But yeah, man, it also makes me question whether or not these guys think Mike Brown fights for them. That's another question. I've seen that speculated, and I was like, man, that's not true. But it's Cat has one of the worst whistles in the league when it comes to getting beat up and not getting called. So then he loses control. Lose control of his limbs, makes boneheaded plays, and starts the offensive fouls because he's not getting the calls on the other end. At some point, if you don't want him talking to the refs, at some point you got to intervene. I also won't shoot Cat bail because you got to change your reputation somehow, some way. Maybe you don't scream and one on every single shot that you make. Maybe don't scream and one. Maybe pick and choose your battles. Maybe drive with more body control. Recognize your proprioception and know, yo, this hook is now in the post office, hanging up, top 10 most wanted. They know what every ref in the league knows to look for that for you. And Powell was telling them, yo, he's kicking me every play. And then when he went up with the knee again, he got called for the offensive foul. It's just on red alert with him committing those type of fouls. It's a narrative that's out there that he perpetuated. But I don't know. I mean, say what you want. You can call me a bonehead. You call me whatever. If I'm in Cat's position, I'm still going to be like, damn, if I hear post-game comments where, damn, fam, you can't even have my back in public and tell me what you feel in private. I don't know. I don't know. They talk about Cat's ego and there's all this speculation about fragility and all of that. Part of being a coach and being a leader is knowing how to deal with your personnel and put them in the best position to win. Some people might be good with tough love. Some you might have to earn that trust before you could get the tough love. Some you might just have to talk to a different way. It is what it is. Y'all could talk about generations or whatever. It is what it is. So I'm looking at him like, yo, do your players trust you? And it goes back to what the hell happened on New Year's Eve? That eroded all of this. None of this. I'm tapped in with everybody that create content around this. Journalists, everybody, myself included. None of us was talking about this a month ago. How did this happen? Was the winning masking something that we just didn't see? Or did an event happen that just changed the trajectory of the season? I don't know, bro. And they got to figure it out.
It's deep. It's definitely deep, man.
I do want to say, like, to your whole, like, Mike Brown calling guys out in the media type thing. Because I talked to James Ham, who covers the Kings, and he's like, that wasn't, like, a big issue when he was out in Sacramento. But there is something that Mello mentioned on air today for the broadcast, because he talked about, the Knicks, like, alumni night that they had.
Mm-hmm.
And he made a comment to Cat saying, like, essentially, and I'm paraphrasing, like, you'll forget about it, just stay locked into the game.
After the air ball.
Yeah, after the air ball. And Cat responds saying, I got you, OG. And Melo responds, like, his analysis of that is that saying that you're thinking too much of what everyone thinks about you and you're not focused in the game. You didn't have to respond to me. Stay locked into the game. You don't need to respond to me. You're too worried what everyone else is thinking. And I think that's very true of like Karl-Anthony Towns. I think he's worried about being very well liked. And I think he's like too worried about what everyone thinks about him as a player when he should just go out there and just go execute. And so, Jeff, why I hear you where you're saying like, yo, like, got to read the players, and to an extent that is true, right? I also believe that players got to be real, saying you're in the limelight. Like everyone's regardless, from the head coach to fans to everybody, analysts, like everyone's going to be critiquing you along the way. So you can't have this much of thin skin where you can't just deal with somebody critiquing your game. And it's not like Mike Brown's calling him like a bad person or anything. He's like, yo, I want you to read. I want you to react. I want you just to play defense. These are not hurtful things. It's just saying, hey, man, I need you to do this, do your job to this level, so that way we can have a successful team. And if Towns can't take that as constructive criticism, doesn't matter if it's from the coach or whoever, then there's a bigger problem. Then that's a very big problem, man. If you can't take constructive criticism and work off of that. And so if he's feeling some sort of type of way because of Mike Brown calling him out, then, man, you can't be a second, third option. You should be paid like a first, second, or third option. You might just need to be a role player.
That's the problem. And you know what, CP, Alex? I don't think winning cures this. If they don't get to the root cause, we're going to be back here after the All-Star break. We're going to be back here in March, and we're going to be back here in the playoffs. They need to solve whatever the issue is. Carve it out from the root. Carve it out from the root, because if you don't, that poison fruit is going to continue to grow. So they got to get to the bottom of this and come to some type of understanding. Otherwise, if you're trying to win this year, you're going to have to change something.
Big change. Big change. And it starts from the inside. All right, we got 2 more calls left. Al, how well did we do with the super chats? So we have a lot of super chats we got to catch up on.
We got to do all of them. We were so deep in conversation about everything else because we're trying to figure out what's going on with this team that
constructive dialogue. That's good. We'll get to the super chats as well. Everybody hang tight. We're gonna get everything covered. We're gonna wrap up the calls, get to the super chats, and then wrap up the show. We got Miami. They creeping up 17-14 Indiana right now. Miami defense trying to gain the momentum here. Shout out number 10. He's like 17, 18. He came in early for Miami, and he's playing like Tyreek Hill out there. But yeah, shout out number 10 for Miami. Okay, let's talk to. And let's get to Peter, man. Peter Piatos on the Discord. Peter, how you doing, man?
What's up, CP, Alex, and Jeff? I've been listening to you guys since 2017, so you guys meant a lot to me.
Thank you, man. Thanks for tapping in with us, man.
Yeah, it's just for actually Cat tonight. It's like I saw like five possessions where he had like great positioning, like at the rim, and he was like, and there were like good like touches too, but he just missed the layup. He just bricked it. And then he just like he looked around, shocked Pikachu meme face, acted like, yo, ref. He like whacked it even though he didn't. And just like that like drop coverage he does every time, especially on Clay, like blitz him, hedge him, get the ball out of his hands. And for Max Christie, and Mike Breen said it like on the game. After he hit his like 7-3, Mike Breen was like, once again, he was left wide open. And like Moses Moody, Champagne, Chrissy, why do we take so long to like react to a guy who's cooking from us? Like chase him off the line or whack him, just like let him know, hey, you have to earn it from here on out. And Mikal, I'm gonna call him Casper the Ghost from now on because he just disappears to the background. He is just a friendly ghost. And for me, I'm gonna try to hold out. And for anyone who's hoping for like trades and stuff, nothing is gonna solve this. Like we have nothing to offer, and there's no one on the market. We are bargain shopping.
Well, you never know. Sometimes you can get surprised with trades. Sometimes you just never know what teams are talking and what they're talking about and how long they're talking about things. You never know. I would say that. I wouldn't say that they're stuck by any stretch. they are in a place where, because they don't have the draft picks and things of that nature, it is harder for sure. They're running out of chips to put into the middle, but you never know. You just never know. So we'll see what happens at the trade deadline, what they can come up with, whether it's on the margins or whether it's a blockbuster, and we'll react to it accordingly, man. Thanks for tapping in.
Thank you, CP, Alex, and Jeff. You guys rock.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, man. Shout out to Peter, man. He's in the chat. He's an active member of the community. Shout out to Peter in the chat. Rate that call in the chat. 1 being trash, 5 being facts. Okay, Omar from the Bronx. Omar, get on mute your mic.
What's up, guys? Can you hear me okay?
Loud and clear. How you doing, man?
Couple quick points. I'll keep it rapid fire. Number one, Carson Beck has been in college for like the past 10 years. You guys are absolutely right about that. At some point, they do have to put a cap. That was the first thing I thought when I saw the quarterbacks for the game.
Right.
But shout out to him. He's making his money. What is it? The NIL money, whatever it is. But to the Knicks, it's a couple of things. I think Jeff is absolutely right. Something must have happened after that Spurs game. They lost. They were ahead by like 10 points, then they lost. I feel like there's something maybe in the locker room that happened because something's off with the team since that game. In terms of the play, the main reason why we're losing is because we're missing shots. In the games that we're getting blown out, we're missing a bunch of three-pointers. And in the games that were close, we're missing timely threes. So that's what's going on. I'll be honest, just my thoughts, like the whole step back threes with Cat, you know, we make fun of it now, but when he was hitting those step backs in the playoffs last year and saved us from getting bounced in the first round or saved us from getting swept against the Pacers, it was all good. So I don't think too much about that. I think the main thing with Cat is the foul trouble. And I think the league is kind of caught on to like the games, like the hooking of the arm, things of that sort, gets him into foul trouble. But the shots that he's taking, I mean, that's part of what makes him a great player because when he hits those, it's what saves us. And to keep it a buck, a lot of times, like those are what keeps them in the games. The other players don't do it. Like this might be an unpopular take. OG is not that good offensively. I don't want a bigger offensive role for OG Anunoby. I may be the only one saying this, but I don't think he's that good. Oftentimes he loses the ball. When he tries to post up, unless he's going in with a two-handed dunk, which he's good at, he's not that good. So I think there just has to be a defining of the roles. It feels like people are going up the court. It's your turn, my turn, with like 3 or 4 different guys. Mikal Bridges, for example, everybody's saying want him to take it to the rim. Maybe he's not doing that because that's not his game. Maybe it wouldn't look pretty if he takes it to the rim. He needs to do those fadeaways. So I just feel like, you know, this is a good thing that's happening. It's good that they're going through this because it's going to uncover things that need to be uncovered. Whether it's a team meeting, it's you know, maybe everybody airing it all out, whatever the case may be. It's good that this is happening as opposed to it being masked and then it kind of unfolding in the playoffs, which is what I felt happened last year. I felt like the Knicks didn't really go on these losing streaks to this extent. It got masked, and then in the playoffs, it kind of all fell together. This whole thing about Mike Brown, you know, being a bad coach, like, come on, Tibbs went through 4-game losing streaks multiple times. You know, it's not the coach, it's the players. It's good. This is healthy. Mark my words. It's January. It's healthy. This is happening. And hopefully, you know, they get it solved. Whatever the issue is, if it's a locker room thing, if it's a trust thing, if it's defining of the roles, but hopefully this will serve as a healthy point in the season to get us going during the playoffs.
Great call. Great call, Omar from the Bronx. And yeah, I'm with you on the coach thing, but that's always like the fallback blame for fans. Like I talk about it all the time, even when Tibbs was here. It's always Tibbs' fault, Tibbs' fault, Tibbs' fault. Now it's Mike Brown's turn because they're in trouble and they're in a hole. Now it's his fault why things are not happening. But it's more or less the same personnel. So when do we start blaming some of the players that we have and some of their issues, right? Just a couple weeks ago, it was, you know, Tibbs didn't know what he had, and all these young kids and all these young players, and now these guys don't get in until garbage time. So what happened? What happened to the you know, he's developing all these guys. He's doing what Tibbs wouldn't. No, he's seeing what Tibbs saw, and as I said, the pressure is bearing down on him, and now they are DMPs. Point blank. Like, they're second-round picks for a reason. And as I said to Al last week, it's not that their ceilings are defined. It just means that they have a lot more work to do in the eyes of the coach. We got to trust the coaches that they know what they're doing, man. And to a certain degree. Everybody's not going to be John Wooden. Everybody's not going to be Red Auerbach. But these are professional NBA coaches. That was my whole defense of Tibbs during that time, that whole conversation where it was like, everybody's like, oh, he didn't know what he had in Cole. He didn't know what he had in McCullers. And now Brown is unlocking these guys. Well, Brown is locking them to the bench right now because you don't trust them to deliver in big spots. They didn't get in until 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter tonight. When you could argue that you needed some energy, you needed a spark, especially from a Kolek standpoint when these guys can't play make for one another. That's what I said. I said, I hope they don't lose that, even with Tyler showing that under defensive pressure and intensity, he kind of folds a little bit. I thought tonight was a night where you could have gave him some minutes. I was not fearful of this Mavericks defense. I thought tonight was a night where Kolek could have came in and helped this team. Your guys' thoughts?
Yeah, look, I think Cole could have gotten in. You could have, at some point, Mike Brown should have probably just had all those guys to be like, yo, let's get a statement out here and just say, you guys are not playing. I'm going to put everybody else in so that way you know how bad you're playing tonight. Like, I think Mike Brown needs to lean in that direction a little bit more. But, you know, to talk about Omar's, you know, points about asking guys and like we got to be comfortable with what they're capable of doing. Unfortunately, we can't do that to a certain degree, man. Like we got to ask these players to do a little bit more. They're making money to a degree where they're paid like they should be doing more. So if you're going to be paid $40 million, I'm expecting you to do a little bit more. If you're going to be paid $50 million, I'm expecting you to do a little bit more. You're supposed to be. You can't get paid like you're a star and then not come through like a star. We can't be having that, man. If that's the case, then these guys got to be realistic with what their value is. So if OG wants a bigger offensive role, I'm not saying he should have a bigger offensive role, but he's looking for it, then work on your game to show that you're deserving of a bigger offense. Do that in the offseason instead of, as Omar pointed out, like he loses the ball, man. He doesn't have a sturdy handle. And so why don't you go work on that if that's the role that you Karl Anthony Towns, like you're being paid like you're like you're Jokic. Go out there and play like you're actually like work on your game. You know, go work on your game, man. It's the one thing I can say that I know about like other players that I know that they work on the game. I don't know if Cat works on his game during the offseason. Does anyone know? I'm not asking that you got to say you got to post it all every single night, but it seems like there's nothing really added, man. It's kind of been the same thing since he's been in the league. And then when you're looking at Bridges, he wanted an extension. We talked about it earlier, Jeff, that if you're going to be throwing subliminals and all this type of stuff, you better come through playing that showing that you're a better player. And so when I hear that, oh, well, we got to accept some of these guys for who they are to a degree, but if you're going to get paid, if you're going to make these comments, if you're going to come out here, you know, with that type of energy, come through with that same type of energy. You can't be asking for more and then giving less. You can't be doing that.
I agree, man. 1000%. And I think for UCP, I think it's a fair criticism because one of the key differences that was supposed to be between Tibbs and Brown was he would recognize when you probably need to play a little bit more of the bench as opposed to trying to grind with your main core and your core rotation to try to get a game out. This was an example of a game where I think if they're not going through this losing streak, maybe he does give Diawara and McCullough, especially McCullough, who's shown above average defensive play for his position as a two-way player, like somebody who can, I've seen him make plays. So I don't think he would have let Max Christie go crazy like that. But I do think, to your point, because the pressure is mounting and they just need a win, he's going to go with the guys he trusts the most. But at the same time, it's like, okay, well, you know that these other players are giving you something in certain situations. What about this situation didn't warrant at the very least a message to say, if y'all big money guys ain't going to make it, ain't going to make it happen, ain't going to play well, let me see what these guys, because I know these guys are hungry. And it goes back to what I said. If they're not hungry, they need to learn to starve again and have that feeling like you don't have nothing, like you don't have a guaranteed roster spot.
The Popovich treatment. Pop would sit him. Duncan, Parker, no, out of there.
Yep.
Give me 5 guys who's starving right now. First quarter, it don't matter. You're out. Until y'all come back and act and get right. And Brown came from that tree. That's his, that was his mentor. That's how he started. It's interesting. But like I said, you know, with the Kolek thing, it's one thing with Diawara, you know, he's raw and you just don't know what he's going to give you defensively, offensively. But the Kolek playmaking factor is one where I just don't think they can afford to just say, we're going to go with Clarkson, we're going to go with Shamet just because. Because I think that the playmaking flaw and hole with this team is so big that, like, you're going to have to live with Tyler being exposed in some regards on both ends, to me, in my opinion. I'm not a coach. I'm not all of that. But I just think, with playing alongside Brunson, playing in pick and roll situation with Karl Anthony Towns, just making offense a little bit easier for everybody, what they're looking for from Jalen. I think that's why I don't think they can afford just DMP, see you later on. I think they need to figure out a way. It's got to carve out. He's got to carve out some minutes from Clarkson and maybe even do sometimes.
Yeah, bro.
So there that is, man. Al, let's rip off the super chats. Let's react to the super chat. Shout out to everybody. We got a $100 super chat from the rhyme animal Chuck D, man. Shout out to Chuck. He says, got to get through it, but this is Don Nelson all over again. Riley culture left when Nelson came in. Ewing was terrible under Nelson. Van Gundy brought the culture back. I was there. Microwave. No, Chuck says he was there. He was there. Microwave Square Garden. Gravity happens quick. This is the gamble of messing with culture and chemistry. And Al, we've been on those group chats with Chuck. He warned us, man. Chuck did talk about this, man. Could this be a Nelson year for the Knicks? And who's the Van Gundy in the wings?
I know the answer, and that would set this whole this would set this whole chat ablaze. So
Rick,
I don't think he's on this rock. I don't think he's on that bench.
well, what would be the equivalent to what they might think it is? And yeah, that would, if you want to talk about a season going south.
Yeah, the fans would riot. They ain't having that.
Man, he got to get the whole season, bro. I'm sorry. 2 coaches, same players. I can divide. I can divide, bro. Y'all make this happen, players.
Yeah.
What changed about the system, CP, Alex? I want to know, because I try to do the film study. I try to look at the analytics. What changed between December and now, other than these guys are ass?
Yeah.
What or did y'all think, oh, we showed that we could win this way, now we're gonna go back and do what we want to do?
Yeah. Well, I think, from a conversation I had, which I can agree with, film and legs. Film and legs. Meaning they've racked up enough film. We're 40-plus odd games in. There's a lot of tape on you right now, which means teams are preparing better, which means you got to figure out your counters now. And if you don't have the legs, like where's the pace that was from, earlier this year, right? Look at how they started this game. They started this game like they were moving in quicksand. From the roommates with the ankle to everybody else, nobody playing with any pep in their step. Film and fatigue. They got to counter. They got to counter and clap back, man.
It's so tough for me to get with the fatigue thing, man, especially from the NBA Cup, because we're talking about guys who were years ago playing all 82 and playing like 37, 40 some odd minutes per night. You know what I mean? Like, and we're supposedly we have the best athletes now, more conditioning, more of this. We got the science to back it. Now you tired? I don't know, man.
Listen,
That's
I can. I'm getting those messages from former players, people tapped in with current players. So I can't refute that, because we're also seeing it on the court. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's the only thing, but with the people with experience saying it, and those connected just 1 degree from, I can't say it's not a factor. How can I say that? Well, I'm just
What does
mere
it
mortal.
say about this team that at the turn of the calendar, the league adjusted to you and you haven't responded in kind? Last year, we were told it was because Tibbs didn't adjust, which I agreed with. We could visibly see the adjustment. What is the excuse this year? You're either not playing great offense, you're not playing great defense. I think what was frustrating about last year was they were executing the same way. They had that consistency, but there was never an adjustment to do something else to see if you could win that way and run that plan. They had one plan and ran that plan by hook or by crook. This is how we're going to win. This is how we're going to lose. and didn't decide to do that until they were getting clapped in Boston to decide to switch everything and change up the defense. And then, Landry Shamet and DeLon Wright can hoop. Okay, we find them against the Pacers all of a sudden. This is a team where it's like they're doing all of that and it ain't working. So at what point is it the personnel? And it's even worse if you're not buying in because they have a solution. You just don't feel it. I don't know, man. It's frustrating. It's frustrating to watch as a fan.
Because there is a documented history of the teams that have gone deep into the cup, and that it's taken them some time to recover. They're not the only team, right? We've seen it in the years past.
Cup curse.
The fact that they did tack on extra games, then you travel and you're going every other night. Like I said, I think it's a factor. I didn't say it's the only factor. And like I said, if for us mere mortals who are at home talking about this, I'm gonna defer to the people with experience. That's all.
I hear that. I definitely hear that, and I agree with you 100%. I do think that's something the league is going to have to look at because now it's a trend. This isn't a blip on the radar. Happened to the Bucks, happened to the Lakers, happening to the Knicks. You might have to give a gap in games after the final and figure something out schedule-wise.
Yeah.
And like I told Alex before you got on, CP, the best case scenario is that they're just skating by the year. And remember, I wasn't playing for real. When you be hooping on the court, you bust someone's ass. I wasn't playing for real. If I played for real, I could beat you. That's the best case scenario right now for the Knicks, is that they're just not interested in turning it on. And when they do, you'll see the team from December. I just don't think they have the margin for error to keep the lights off.
I just gotta push back on this whole thing with I get the cup curse and we look at the winners. Can we look at the losers and what happened? Because they had to go play 2 that day. Last season was the Thunder, who won the NBA Finals. The year before that, it was the Indiana Pacers, who made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. So, how much is it this cup is really making guys tired?
Well, for one, the season's not over. They're not in the playoffs yet. And let's see what happens after All-Star.
No, that's what I'm saying. But
when
it's
they get the week off, let's see what happens after All-Star.
My whole point is that for some of these guys, and I got to look at the guys who lost those games, see what their record was. But it's I don't know, man. It's just, I feel like there's a lot more to it than just it's the dog days of the season. These guys are tired from the cup. And it's just more than that, man. There's no way that you're coming out with this lackluster of an effort. This screams more than just tired, guys. This screams more than just tired. Everything just screams more than just tired.
To your point, Alex, there was a stat. Well, to the point for the team, the cup is draining these teams, and they just tired legs. There was a stat in at the end of December that the final 4 for the cup: Orlando, New York, San Antonio, and I believe it was it OKC, right?
Mm-hmm.
At one point, they were combined just 2 games over 500. That also coincided with the Thunder, and they were 6-6 at one point. The Spurs were up and down. The Magic fell off a cliff a little bit, and the Knicks were playing 500 ball. So a factor, not the factor, but it is a factor. But at this point, I can't factor in any patience. They need to factor in wins. They need to be a positive factor on the court.
They got to turn it around, man. Miami just scored 24-21, 6.5 minutes left. This the kid, Malachi Tony, man, number 10. I think he's 17 and 18. Killing right now. He's
like Scatterboo with dreads.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he's related to Kadarius. He kind of looks like him.
Oh,
he's got his head on his shoulders. They kind of look alike. He looks like the Tony that was on the Giants, but he had a couple screws loose.
So
what are you saying now? What are you saying? Go ahead.
I just looked at the Thunder's win record after losing in the NBA Cup last season. They went on a 10-game win streak.
Hey,
tired though. Tired legs. Dog days of the season though.
Well, listen, man. like I said, we'll see what happens after the All-Star break and see if this is the same team that comes out of the All-Star break. Where do we leave off on the Super Chats?
Start all the way from the top, my man.
Okay, let's see. Shout out CB 22491 $10 Super Chat franchise channel member. The Tips Fan TV is on and popping tonight. This team is out here looking as lifeless as Mike Brown on the sideline. They're just going with the motions, no sense of real urgency. Shout out to CB. I don't know if he's a member of Tips Fan TV. I'm not sure, but shout out to him. Shout out to Terrence Cox. We got you, man. Shout out to Terrence. He says, cat to the bench and Mitch starting. Okay. Shout out BK Jeezy, franchise channel member, $10 Super Chat says, bring back Tibbs. Peace. KFTV family, man. Okay. People want Tibbs back. People want Randall back. They can't stop talking about DiVincenzo. So, everybody living in the past right now with this team, but just got to keep it forward. First Lady of Sports, $5 Super Chat says, in the Spurs game, that was the game where Brunson went into iso ball mode and he was very selfish. For them to ignore Brunson today is very telling. Okay. First Lady of Sports calling out the captain. There we go. Shout out Gershon Rodriguez, 1676, $10 Super Chat. Said, Jeff, it happens every time with Mike Brown. The difference now is that teams figure it out earlier. Same time with Pau Gasol. That was ugly, man. Fox, Sabonis, Nash. Now Towns. Okay. All right. Shout out to NYC94, $10 Super Chat says, remember when the team kept taking photos of the defensive player of the game wearing a construction hat of vest and Tim's? Well, you can donate that to Goodwill. Okay. They said dash away to Tim's. Toss them in the garbage, Alan Jeff.
Damn.
Let's get back to business. It seemed like many moons ago they were doing that, man.
Ain't have a chance.
If they beat the Nets, are they going to do that?
You got to bring back the vibe
They can't
somehow,
do that,
bro.
man. Do not even do it.
Bro,
do not even.
They
Don't.
got to.
They got to. You got team culture.
Give it a
Yo, did y'all see
man.
this tweet from Chris Splash about Josh Hart's comments?
Nah. What did it say? What did it say?
I'll just dictate. Ask Josh Hart if he thinks the Knicks' flaws are personnel or scheme-driven. He said 100% personnel. He said the players need to look themselves in the mirror and, most importantly, be professional. Is this Egos and Agenda 2026?
Yeah. Did they just score again? Indiana just scored again? Yeah, it is. Egos and Agenda, man. He said be professional. What was he calling out there? Indiana didn't score again. 24-21. They're getting the ball back.
You get me tight, man. Like, yo.
Y'all
got to talk to each other. Talk to each other, man. Don't talk to us no more. Take us out the group chat. Talk to each other, bro. Talk to each other. And figure it out.
They let Precious look like he was,
Yo.
You name it.
What? I'm like, damn, Precious, where was this last year? And he said they didn't play me.
Yeah, he was another one. No, Tibbs didn't play the bench. No, Precious, he played you. You weren't good. Knock it off.
You know what these guys are going to figure out soon enough?
Tibbs didn't play the bench narrative. Bro, you were part of the bench that played, and you sucked. Stop it. Then you had Knicks fans up, oh, we should have never got rid of Precious. I told you we should have never got rid of Precious. Knock it off, man.
Dog. You know what they're going to find out real quick?
Is about now.
They're going to find out that Knicks fans care more about the name on the front than the name on the back when it comes to winning a title. Yeah. As this drought continues and continues, at some point, it's going to be, by any means, we need to get this chip. And if you're not with the program, then you got to go. You got to go. Whoever, you got to go.
Crazy, man. I got NYC. Shout out Lord Steven Stone. $5 super chat. He says this is the most embarrassing loss. A trade is coming for sure. I think they're waiting on the deadline since Mikal will be trade eligible. 4 games losing streak. Ouch. And 9 out of their last 11. 9 out of their last 11, man. Shout out to Ty's $5 super chat says I ain't gonna hold you. He kept the jewels on. Who's he talking about? I don't know.
He could have kept the jewels on. I was saying that I was talking about you need to be starving, you play hungry. I said I told a story about how Nori would take off his jewels before he rapped and recorded an album so that he could remain hungry and be in that mindset of him coming up. So he said he should have probably kept the jewels.
Hey man, Nori had a couple joints, man. He had a couple joints.
Yo,
you know?
Ed Ari was fire. I'm sorry, bro. It might be that bias. It might be that Queen's bias, but it was alright.
He was one of those ones. You wanted to know every line for everybody's bars. Banned from TV, body in the trunk.
Who else you knew ran laps around the English Channel? I never did that. Who was the first to do that? Nori.
Oh my God, those are some days, man. Those are some days, man. Shout out to Nori. Shout out to Brew Fruit Fishing. Says this is punishment for not putting the banner up. All right, shout out to Brew Fruit Fishing. Apostleinthemaking says, don't let me forget another player making records on our home court. Another one. Shout out to them. Manny Faces Official, $5 super chat says, is it mental? Are trades talking? It's a trade talk messing them up. Is this the NYC market pressure? Some people have talked about it. You know, Starberry talked about it in regards to Cat. Hard to say. Certainly a possibility. Got to cope or not crash out. Cough. Randall cough. Okay. Shout out to Manny. Terrence Cox again says, these takes are killing me mid-season breakdowns. All right, so Terrence is staying even-keeled. Okay. Rocknest Monster, $5 super chat says, we're not saying Brown stinks. What we were saying is the league has tape on how the Knicks play and how to guard them. That's what I talked about, man. Tape. Christopher Abbott, salute to you. DJ Etsy, 10-pound super chat. Number 3 in the chat leaderboard. Says, milk and 2 sugars, please. Leon Rose, don't value first-round picks, period. Just look up the first-round draft activity since he arrived. I don't know if he doesn't value them. I think, in trying to build this team to get to this point, you have to do what you have to do. I think that was part of it. $10 super chat from Kojak, NY6508. He's right. Our downfall started with Todd Bridges. We solved. Yo, he put, this wasn't the typo autocorrect. He put Todd Bridges. Bro.
Move on up.
Shout out to Different Strokes, man. He said 2 years ago we were fire. All we had to do was trade Randall for a good player and not give up anything else. Okay. All right, shout out to Aggravated Man. Aggravated says, Ari told no lies. Shout out to Aggravated. El Downtastico, $10 super chat, says, I feel like Cat kicked me in the nuts tonight, too. El Downtastico,
man.
Salute, Mr. Knicks 101. First Lady of Sports, $5 super chat, says, it's amazing how Brunson can find Mitch on a pick and roll 3 times tonight, and he couldn't find Cat 1 time. That's what I'm talking about, man. How? What is up with that? At least he found them. I was very happy as a Block Nest Monster guy and, wanted to see these guys get him involved. I was very happy to see that. But she's right, because it's something that is, not a design of the offense, but it's like every once in a while. And she's right. You don't see that with him and Cat.
Can Cat also keep the defense honest and roll harder to the rim and not just do a...
Very true.
I feel like it's 2 sides of the coin right there. Like, it's like, all right, I'm going to jog down to the rim. I'm going to pop out, and everyone knows that you pop out.
That's true. That is very true, man. They got to figure that out, man. The lack of a 2-man game between these 2 guys, very frustrating in my book. Shout out to MB Paul, welcome to the franchise channel members. Knicks Forever, $5 super chat says the Knicks couldn't win a chip, but they never gave up. 90s Knicks couldn't win a chip, they never gave up. Sit the starters for the next game no matter what happens. Okay. DJ Edge again says Cat post-game interviews versus Clippers speaks volume now. I got to go back and take a look at that. Knicks Forever says Brunson isn't a leader. I'm sorry. He isn't Batman. He makes a great Robin. We need a Batman still. So, is that time for Giannis? Somebody in my row was like, we need Giannis. I don't know. see, man. Jay Breezy, 33, $5 super chat says Knicks are playing like they want Mike Brown fired or they do not want to play with each other. I think it's the latter, like Josh Hart said, personnel. And he said professional. Who's he talking about there? It must be Cat. Is he talking about Cat? Can't be talking about JB. That's his roommate. Can't be talking about the Nova guys. That's why the Cat thing, there must be a divide. There's a divide, man. All right, keeping it pushing through the super chats. Ryan Mammo, Chuck D, we appreciate you once again. Shout out Ryan, 4251, says team is shooting 34% from three since the Cup, which is 23rd in the league, and they put up 39 on average. Those misses lead to transition buckets. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Shout out Ray Nobletza says, if what Deuce says is true, then the Knicks should be humbled by losing this bad. Hopefully they can straighten out the locker room and return to winning. Shout out OK Bert, $5 super chat says, this team is in a weird paradox of imposter syndrome. The very qualities that set them apart become a breeding ground for self-doubt. I don't know, man. Great point by OK Bert. Shout out to the Bill Collector, 3715. Yeah, I'm not reading that. Not worth it. Gerson Rodriguez, 1676, $5 super chat says, hey, guys, since we were about to ship him, how has Cap been doing against the Knicks in the past? Do we ship him east or west? Well, listen, man, you ship him. If you do trade him, you're trying to get better. You're trying to get better. You do need an engine, and that's why I was talking to somebody else. I'm like, the Cat thing to just trade him for depth and things that you need, okay, fine, but you're still going to create a hole offensively if you're not going all-star for all-star. That's why the Julius trade was so difficult for years, because the only trade you could make to try to be better was the Cat trade. A question mark for a question mark. You weren't getting any better trade involving Julius Randle. Yes, you had to give up DiVincenzo as well. Some of you argue how good or bad that was. You weren't getting a better upgrade to Julius than Cat, but it was going to come with its own warts. And I think they're in the same position now. because it's practically the same player in certain respects. So that's that, man. Fellas, any final comments before we wrap, man? We almost at the 3-hour mark. It was one of those nights. We had to do it, man. Great show.
I'll leave you with this. One of my favorite MLK quotes about courage and convenience, right? At times of courage and convenience as opposed to controversy. That was something that he spoke about immensely. The ultimate measure of a man. That's what it is. It's not where he stands in times of comfort and convenience. It's where you stand in times of challenge and controversy. The Knicks are in their ultimate measure of a man situation right now. What are you going to do? Are you going to stand on your own two and get up, or are you going to fold? That's really what it is. And I would definitely implore the KFTV community, anybody listening, tap into more than the I Have a Dream speech for MLK.
It's deeper than that.
It's way deeper, and it's unfortunately reflexive of things that are going on today. The cycle continues to repeat, but the blueprint is out there. And there's a reason why that man was so great. And it wasn't that sentiment when he was alive. There's a lot of parallels between the people who are speaking truth to power and how they're received now versus what their legacy is. So don't allow the legacies to be bastardized and twisted. Do the knowledge and as you would say, keep hope alive.
Well said, man. Good job tying in the two, man. Al, any final words before we depart here?
Unbelievable what Jeff said, man. That's a good place to end.
Yeah, this is bars, man. All right, well, great show. Salute to the replay gang once again. Remember that these shows are available in audio podcast format. Like, share, and subscribe. And leave some comments in the comment section, man. As the world turns, hey, never a dull moment in the Knicksverse. This is why we do what we do and have so much fun doing it. Do the good, the bad, and the ugly. We will be here and just continue to tap in, continue to support, and we'll see you guys Wednesday, hey, you never know. Well, it might be tomorrow, might be tonight. So always tap in, keep it locked, turn on your notification bell, and we'll see you guys next time, man. Peace.